The innocent nurse never expected that just a passionate kiss from the boy would turn her from a zombie back into a normal human. Little did she know, the first thing the boy did after being reborn was injecting himself with 200 kilograms of zombie virus. Not only did he not turn into a zombie, but he also awakened the supreme Styr talent. With this talent, he boldly declared that the goddess would bear his son. Turns out, Chen Bai had gained the recognition of the hourglass of time, allowing him to travel from the apocalyptic world decades later, back to 10 days before the apocalypse began. In reality, this apocalypse was a trial imposed on Earth by the will of the universe, though the cost was devastating. With 90% of humanity perishing, the survivors would awaken various talents to seize the rare artifacts that came with it. Even these could attract the attention of the gods who governed the laws of the universe. In his previous life, Chen Bai, due to his lack of strength, pledged allegiance to a dark goddess, Hellrose. Despite Chen Bai desperately completing the tasks assigned by the goddess, just one mission failure led to his erasure by her. Now reborn, Chen Bai, armed with decades of advanced knowledge, was confident he could trample goddess Hellrose under his feet. After all, in the 10 days before the apocalypse, there was a one-time opportunity to upgrade talents. Chen Bai's goal was to head to a certain hospital, because in the 10 days before the trial began, there are already signs of people turning into zombies. Moreover, Chen Bai's talent in his previous life was level 1 virus resistance. Now, he only needs to forcefully activate it with the virus to enhance his original talent level. Nothing is better than the zombie virus. After Chen Bai extracted it, since his college roommates were pulling all-nighters at the internet cafe, he returned to the dorm. Without a word, he injected the zombie virus into himself. Immediately, excruciating pain racked his entire body, causing Chen Bai to pass out. In his subconscious, it was as if he saw the goddess Hellrose again. Even though she possessed flawless beauty, Chen Bai's hatred for her not only didn't diminish, but instead, he thought about how to turn her into his slave. When Chen Bai woke up again, he ignored his roommate's terrified expressions, just because his talent upgrade succeeded. The voice of the cosmic will echoed in Chen Bai's mind. Congratulations to Chen Bai for awakening ahead of time, granting him the title of Forerunner. It increases all of Chen Bai's attributes by 5%, boosts experience gain rewards by 10%. As for his talent, it skyrocketed instantly, leaping from its originally ranked to rank Virus Monarch, capable of absorbing, utilizing, manipulating, modifying, and even creating viruses. It is the strongest talent among virus-based abilities. Currently, Chen Bai requires vast amounts of viruses to enhance his power. Hospitals are naturally the best locations to acquire viruses. Unexpectedly, as soon as Chen Bai arrived at the hospital, he encountered a zombie outbreak. These humans, who turned into zombies prematurely due to genetic defects, were the perfect nourishment for Chen Bai. The passive innate skill of the virus sovereign, virus absorption, can absorb viruses to gain virus points and strengthen oneself. Meanwhile, on the 4th floor hospital bathroom, a blonde guy faced the threat of zombies. Seeing the innocent nurse he had been desperately pursuing behind him, believing he was doomed, the blonde wanted to act on his dark desires one last time. But unexpectedly, zombies broke through the door at that moment. Knowing he wouldn't get his way, the blonde pulled the nurse toward him and shoved her at the zombies. Compared to sex, he wanted to survive more. Without caring if it was the 4th floor, he smashed the window and tried to jump to save himself. A few minutes later, Chen Bai arrived after absorbing zombie viruses along the way. He saw the nurse on the verge of mutation and reached out to her. Soon, the zombie virus in her body was absorbed by Chen Bai. Since the virus hadn't fully taken over, the nurse reverted to being human. Chen Bai didn't care for her gratitude, nor did he have any lustful intentions toward her. His main goal was to have her lead him to the hospital, where the highest concentration of viruses was stored. Shortly after, in the lab, Chen Bai gathered hundreds of virus samples, then recklessly fused them together, and began absorbing them with delight. These deadly viruses to humans were nothing but nourishment to him. Soon, a unique skill exclusive to S-rank talents and above appeared before Chen Bai. Having absorbed so many virus points, Chen Bai could now choose a virus as his evolution path. As for the other viruses, they could be unlocked later by obtaining more virus points. Chen Bai set his sights on the Blacklight virus. This virus not only enhanced his attributes and recovery, but most importantly, it allowed for devouring evolution. Just then, a zombie barged into the examination room. Pure white, with its all-attribute boost, was as fast as lightning. In an instant, it appeared before the zombie. With one hand, it effortlessly grabbed the zombie by the neck and lifted it. The next moment, Chen Bai's hand transformed into blacklight tendrils, enveloping the zombie. As the tendrils writhed, the zombie was soon completely devoured by Chen Bai. Chen Bai could feel his stamina recovering slightly. The young nurse who witnessed this horrifying scene, though her worldview had shattered, instinctively decided to latch onto a powerful ally. The appearance of zombies left her feeling extremely unsafe, so she proactively asked to follow Chen Bai. Chen Bai didn't refuse. Suddenly, the sound of disciplined, orderly footsteps reached their ears. Chen Bai knew the military had arrived to lock down the area. He grabbed the nurse and decided to escape via the rooftop. Unexpectedly, a mutated zombie was clinging to the ceiling. Its appearance didn't unsettle Chen Bai. Instead, he was excited after devouring this mutant. Would the Blacklight virus evolve? The mutated zombie was no match for Chen Bai. It's just too slow. Although Chen Bai could punch hard enough to cave in the zombie's chest, it didn't do much to the zombie. At that moment, the nurse nearby smashed open the fire cabinet, pulled out an axe, and threw it to Chen Bai. With one swing of the axe, Chen Bai nearly split the zombie in half. But the mutated zombie, feeling no pain, could still trade blows with Chen Bai. In the end, however, it was no match for him. Unexpectedly, the zombie suddenly grabbed hold of him, catching Chen Bai off guard. The mutated zombie slammed him hard against the wall, trying to tear him apart. Yet, not a trace of panic showed on Chen Bai's face. At that moment, sinister black tendrils emerged from Chen Bai's stomach, wrapping around and devouring the mutated zombie along its arms. As expected, the Blacklight virus evolved, granting Chen Bai a new ability, Bone Claws. But the commotion from the fight also drew the military's attention. Seeing this, Chen Bai had no intention of engaging. Instead, he scooped up the nurse in a princess carry and planned to escape in another direction. Yet, the military still perceived him as a threat and gave the order to open fire. However, ordinary bullets had little effect on Chen Bai now. So even after being shot multiple times, he acted as if nothing had happened. Once he reached the rooftop, after asking the nurse for her home address, he leaped off the building. Not long after, in a residential area, the little nurse returned home. She hurriedly asked Chen Bai to take off his clothes, wanting to extract the bullet and treat his wound. But Chen Bai, who possessed the Blacklight virus, had recovery abilities that defied the heavens. During the journey, the bullet had already been expelled from his body, and the wounds on his body had already healed. However, when the little nurse saw Chen Bai's 18-pack abs, her face instantly turned red. The atmosphere between the two of them suddenly became ambiguous. Yet the little nurse showed no intention of refusing Chen Bai. As a man, Chen Bai didn't hesitate and went straight for the basic attack, thus initiating a new battlefield that lasted all night. Unbeknownst to him, the campus belle, who had a deep connection with him, was looking for him. The next day, Chen Bai went out to buy breakfast for the little nurse. During this time, he began to ponder. the three most important events that occurred 10 days before the apocalypse, namely, the lockdown of the hospital, the massive bombing in the suburbs, and finally, the monster slaughterhouse. At that moment, a phone call came. It was the little nurse informing Chen Bai that a woman named Song Ziqiang was looking for him. It's worth noting that this woman was no ordinary person. After the apocalypse arrived in the previous life, she awakened a great talent and soared to prominence, then established her own faction, becoming the undisputed queen of Jiangkang. Moreover, she was also the campus belle's mother. This gave Chen Bai the idea of recruiting her. In the future, when forming his faction, he could just be a hands-off boss. Moments later, Chen Bai arrived at the meeting spot and met this woman who, a previous life, the ruthless and domineering queen. Song Ziqiang seemed to know about the ambiguous relationship between Chen Bai and her daughter. After the two exchanged pleasantries, Song Ziqiang revealed her intention. She actually wanted to subdue Chen Bai. Having him as her son-in-law wouldn't be unacceptable. In truth, Song Ziqiang sought out Chen Bai, not just because of her daughter, but due to his performance in the hospital. Even though Chen Bai had cut the hospital's surveillance power, he overlooked the survivors present at the time. One of Song Ziqiang's subordinates happened to capture footage of them. And among the survivors, Song Ziqiang also found Liu Feng, colleague familiar with the little nurse. Chen Bai remembered this person. During last night's temporary truce with the little nurse, she had told Chen Bai that a scumbag named Liu Feng, just minutes before Chen Bai arrived, had tried to force himself on her, then pushed her toward the zombies before jumping out the window to escape. Since the little nurse was Chen Bai's first woman, he naturally wanted to avenge her. Song Ziqiang promised that if Chen Bai submitted to her, she would reveal Liu Feng's whereabouts. But how could Chen Bai let her have her way? Soon, the tables turned. After Chen Bai directly displayed his blacklight virus abilities, Song Ziqiang knew her plan to recruit him had failed. And Chen Bai made it clear if she submitted to him, he would tell her how to gain superhuman powers. Though Song Ziqiang, as a strong and capable woman, was inwardly shocked, she wouldn't easily agree just because of Chen Bai's little display of skill. Chen Bai stepped up to Song Ziqiang, pinched her chin, and told her that she would soon witness even greater feats from him. As a mature and experienced married woman, she had seen it all. His words didn't make her blush. Instead, she signaled to Chen Bai that she was very much looking forward to meeting a man who could truly conquer her. Suddenly, gunshots drew the attention of all three. Song Ziqiang volunteered the information she knew. Company Commander Zhao of the military had requisitioned some of the nearby cold storage warehouses to refrigerate live zombies and quarantine rescued survivors. What puzzled Song Ziqiang was that the zombies in the cold storage were almost completely inactive. So why were there gunshots now? Could something have gone wrong? Chen Bai, however, was surprised that zombies slowed down in low temperatures. He hadn't expected this to be discovered so quickly. But there was one piece of information the military definitely didn't know. Under extreme conditions, the probability of zombie mutation also increased. Suddenly, a flash of insight struck Chen Bai. The cold storage in the suburbs and the mutated zombies. Could this be the site of the suburban bombing? If so, he might just get to devour another mutated zombie and evolve the blacklight virus. At the same time, the zombies in the suburban cold storage had indeed mutated under the extreme conditions. The military was utterly helpless against this mutated zombie. The highest-ranking officer was calling for reinforcements, but at this moment, Song Ziqiang, who had just arrived, spoke up and said it wasn't necessary. Just have his men retreat. Wait a moment. Someone will come to deal with this mutated flesh. Mountain Leng. Inside the warehouse, Chen Bai, after saving a young girl, immediately engaged in a fierce battle with this mutated zombie. His figure fighting the zombie was also seen by Captain Zhao, who instantly looked at Song Ziqiang with a shocked gaze, clearly asking what kind of monster this man was. Meanwhile, inside the cold storage, Chen Bai used the blacklight virus to devour large amounts of frozen beef. Aside from strengthening himself, it was also to prevent the mutated zombie from growing even stronger. During this time, he also realized the mutated zombie posed no real threat to him. The next second, Chen Bai's bone claws pierced through the mutated zombie's skull, then directly devoured it with the blacklight virus. Right at this moment, Captain Zhao decided Chen Bai was also a monster, and planned to take advantage of Chen Bai's current immobility to eliminate them altogether. Song Ziqiang immediately stepped forward to stop him, even bluntly saying not to bite the hand that feeds you. Chen Bai had saved all of them, and it would be foolish to stab him in the back. 1 minute later, Chen Bai finished devouring. Captain Zhao immediately ordered his men to load their guns, everyone on high alert, in case Chen Bai suddenly went on a killing spree. After devouring the mutated zombie, Chen Bai gained a large amount of virus points, and the Virus Monarch talent unlocked a new ability, Virus Pillar, and devoured the power-type mutated zombie. The Blacklight virus also unlocked the power form, Heavy Hammer. Chen Bai could feel his strength had further improved. And that wasn't all. The Apocalypse trial of the Cosmic Will was like a game. Killing monsters would drop items and equipment. The Meat Mountain core in Chen Bai's hand could not only be used to craft rare gear, but also, by finding a way to control it, its flesh-devouring properties could be harnessed to build an infinitely growing wall of flesh. At this moment, Song Ziqiang introduced the young woman Chen Bai had just saved. She was Lu Li, a famous beauty and reporter from Jiangking. She was also the one who had filmed Chen Bai's video. Back at the hospital, Lu Li was extremely grateful to Chen Bai, as he had saved her twice now. Suddenly, Captain Zhao interrupted them, gesturing to Commander Huang of the military district, wanting Chen Bai to disclose his situation to the military. As for Commander Huang Chuxing's name, Chen Bai was all too familiar with it. In his past life, Chen Bai had been forced to flee Jiangking because of him. Because after the Apocalypse trial descended, this guy gathered up the isolated and vulnerable awakened ones, not only offering them poor treatment, but treating them like livestock, and anyone who tried to leave would be charged with treason by him. Chen Bai refused outright with a look of disgust. Captain Zhao, Song Ziqiang, seeing this, signaled to Chen Bai to let him handle it. As the queen of both the underworld and the legitimate world, Song Ziqiang wielded astonishing influence. He told Company Commander Zhao to turn back and head home, with no need to ask further questions. If Huang Chuxin had any objections, he could come see him personally. Company Commander Zhao knew he couldn't afford to offend the woman before him. Just as he was about to leave, his subordinate informed him that among the quarantined individuals, there was a man named Liu Feng, who was causing a huge uproar. This name caught Chen Bai's attention, and he bluntly told Company Commander Zhao that he wanted to see Liu Feng. Soon after, Liu Feng was brought out. His face was full of arrogance, thinking he had been released thanks to his father's connections. Chen Bai stepped forward and patted his shoulder, using his new ability to inject the zombie virus into Liu Feng's body. He then told Liu Feng that the young nurse had already become his woman. Before immediately stepping back, Chen Bai warned the others that something was wrong with Liu Feng. The next second, before Liu Feng could react in shock, his entire body began to mutate. Chen Bai's hand transformed into a massive hammer, instantly smashing the now zombified Liu Feng into pieces. A single punch was all it took. Chen Bai signaled to Song Ziqiang with his eyes that it was time to leave. But to his surprise, Song Ziqiang suddenly stepped forward, intimately taking Chen Bai's hand. and whispering, "Is it still too late to become yours now?" Clearly, she had been utterly shaken by Chen Bai's power. Hearing this, Chen Bai couldn't help but smirk. What happened next? Chen Bai rode in Song Ziqiang's car to his villa. Chen Bai then began to check the other loot rewards from defeating the mutated zombie. There were 2 skill books. However, they were useless to Chen Bai. One was Bloodthirsty Frenzy, but the side effects were too severe. The other was the passive skill, Muscle Proliferation, which seemed to double physical strength. But the side effect was turning into a muscular freak. It would also reduce one's agility. Still, even though they were useless to Chen Bai, they held high value in the early stages of the Apocalypse trial. They would be a good choice for recruiting talent. Chen Bai also needed to start laying the groundwork for building his faction. After all, the Cosmic Will's rewards for Evolvers were quite comprehensive. Once things officially began, there wouldn't just be a forum, but many other functions as well. For pioneers like Chen Bai, certain features would also be unlocked, such as group chats. He used the gold coins dropped from killing the mutated zombie to create a chat group named Number 1. Because in the coming days, other talented and powerful individuals would awaken. By gathering these people, Chen Bai was confident this chat group would become the most prestigious circle in the entire apocalypse in the future. His strength and influence would eventually crush Holoros underfoot. Next, Chen Bai shared part of the Apocalypse trial with Song Ziqiang. He believed Song Ziqiang could leverage this information, gain some advantage. However, after witnessing Chen Bai's strength, Song Ziqiang became even more eager to be his subordinate. Seeing this, Chen Bai curled his lips and laid out 2 conditions. The first was capability. The second was absolute loyalty. Song Ziqiang was certainly not lacking in ability. As for loyalty, he had no issues there either. Chen Bai made it clear up front. If you betray him, no matter if you're some black and white queen, once the Apocalypse trial arrives, everything will be reshuffled. So the betrayer's fate will be extremely grim. Of course, Chen Bai wasn't intimidated by his skills either. He let Song Ziqiang flourish within the faction he built, confident that he would always remain superior. A stick and a carrot. Song Ziqiang ate with great satisfaction. She directly knelt on one knee and submitted to Chen Bai, calling him master. And when Chen Bai saw the Queen of Jiangqing bowing at his feet, it couldn't help but excite him a little. So he reached out to grip her chin, wanting to witness the queen's charm for himself. Moreover, Chen Bai also had some tasks for Song Ziqiang to handle. Next, his secretary received Song Ziqiang's orders, demanding that he go to Tiba and post a pioneer thread, then send Lu Li home afterward. At the same time, Chen Bai, who was savoring Song Ziqiang's charm, saw his daughter calling. Without hesitation, Chen Bai answered the phone. The school bell, Brother Song, was caught off guard. He didn't expect Chen Bai to actually be by his mother's side. He asked his mom why she didn't answer the phone. Chen Bai signaled that Song Ziqiang was eating while working. Of course, no time to answer the phone. Brother Song found it a bit odd, but didn't think too much of it. He then asked Chen Bai why he hadn't replied to his messages, yet Chen Bai gave no response and simply hung up. This infuriated the campus belle. Sooner or later, she'd make Chen Bai submit to her charms. Meanwhile, Song Ziqiang, having finished work, asked Chen Bai, after the Apocalypse trial descends, if they could shelter his daughter together. Chen Bai smiled faintly. It all depended on his performance from here on out. The boy never expected the aloof campus belle would wet herself in terror at the sight of zombies. In contrast, whether it was his mother or the innocent little nurse, they could all eliminate zombies without hesitation. Chen Bai is also doing this for their sake. The apocalypse and heartbreak arrive in 10 days. but as long as you fight with cold weapons, there's a high chance of safely awakening your talents and not turning into a zombie or something. So, based on his past life memories, Chen Bai pinpointed the last location of the 3 major early-stage anomalies, even though the mutated zombie he wanted wasn't here. The number of zombies here reached over 100. Most of the zombies were dealt with and absorbed by Chen Bai, leaving a few for Song Ziqiang and the others. And since Chen Bai's zombie kill count exceeded 300, he obtained the title of Zombie Slayer, which increases all attributes and boosts damage against zombies by 5%, with over 500 samples of different types of zombie viruses collected. In Chen Bai's Virus Monarch talent, the serum formula for the zombie virus was unlocked. However, Chen Bai didn't expect that the others could handle the zombies so well, especially Song Ziqiang's secretary and bodyguard, Shuanger, who took down zombies with ruthless efficiency. She didn't even need weapons. Unexpectedly, it was only the aloof school beauty, Brother Song, who wet his pants the moment he saw a zombie, let alone picking up a weapon to fight them. Though Chen Bai had a soft spot for the school beauty, he had no time to babysit him. Every second counted before the apocalypse arrived. He didn't have the luxury of playing nanny to the school beauty. He ordered Song Ziqiang to investigate the location, as the number of zombies here was abnormally high. As for Brother Song, he left it to Song Ziqiang to arrange his training. Hearing this, Song Ziqiang hesitated. Without Chen Bai's protection, it would be easy to get infected by the zombie virus. Chen Bai simply handed him the zombie virus serum and told him to mass produce it. Due to partial gamification, as long as the materials were found, they could be placed into the formula for automatic synthesis. Song Ziqiang was deeply grateful for Chen Bai's trust. Next, Chen Bai checked his forum post titled Pioneers. Though many came just to meme, there were already true pioneers with awakened talents who saw the post and reached out to him. One of them even had an S-tier talent, Psychic Domination. Chen Bai wasn't particularly surprised. Those who awaken their talents before the apocalypse arrives usually possess exceptionally high aptitudes. Chen Bai directly instructed him to join chat group number 1 on the system panel. Moreover, he knew another forerunner. This person, named Shuichuan. Chen Bai had heard of his reputation in his previous life, a monarch-level powerhouse known as the Emperor of the Water Army. As expected, this Shuichuan also joined the chat group. Chen Bai then told Hangxiu to keep an eye out for other awakened talents. At PM, Chen Bai had Song Ziqiang investigate the zombies, and it actually yielded a lead. Reporter Su Li discovered that the city lord of Jiangkang was collecting zombies and relocating them to various hidden locations. Unfortunately, just as Su Li was about to leave, his guards were suddenly killed. Clearly, he had been discovered by the city lord's men. The next day, at Song Ziqiang's villa, another forerunner approached Chen Bai, asking him to assess his talent. And this talent turned out to be the S's grade Shadowwood body. However, activating this talent required reducing 1 point each in Constitution and Spirit. Keep in mind, the average person's normal attributes are only 3-5 points. Chen Bai advised him to first activate the Wood body and only unlock the Shadow Soul after his Constitution improved. At that moment, Song Ziqiang rushed to Chen Bai's side to report Su Li's capture. The opposing side demanded he come for negotiations. Chen Bai, however, sensed something amiss. The other party could contact Song Ziqiang. Did that mean Su Li had given him away? Song Ziqiang immediately knelt and denied it. Su Li was someone he had trained. There was no way he would betray him. As for this investigation, he was overseeing it from the rear. The issue must lie with those conducting the field investigation. In that case, Chen Bai had no qualms about going to rescue them. Elsewhere inside a shipping container, a man named Xing Meng had taken a liking to the stunningly beautiful Su Li. The only reason he hadn't laid a hand on her yet was out of respect for Song Ziqiang. He wanted Su Li to submit to him willingly. Yet Su Li hadn't given him the slightest bit of courtesy. But just then, Chen Bai abruptly appeared inside the container. Calm and unhurried, he cut a piece of steak and placed it into Su Li's mouth. Ignoring the container's owner, Xing Meng, he untied the ropes binding Su Li and told her to wait for him in the car outside. Xing Meng, surprisingly, didn't lose his composure. From their conversation, it seemed he knew Song Ziqiang had been subdued by Chen Bai. This only made him more intrigued by Chen Bai. After all, he had already subjugated the city lord of Jiangkang. Now, he wanted Chen Bai to serve under him. To that end, he offered Chen Bai a position as his right-hand man. Chen Bai bluntly told him he wasn't worthy. His own talent was steer, after all. And wandering around collecting zombies was one thing, but using live humans to create zombies for farming loot drops. People without morals should just die. Xing Meng equipped himself with a piece of gear. He claimed his innate talent, kill to advance, allowed him to permanently transfer a portion of the slain target's attributes to himself, and it was the kind with infinite growth. Such an overpowered ability was only rated S tier. Chen Bai was truly S tier. Wouldn't that make him something else entirely? Hearing this, Chen Bai was slightly surprised by his talent. The next moment, the two engaged in their first clash. Although Xing Meng didn't believe in Chen Bai's talent, rank, he could still sense Chen Bai's overwhelming strength. He immediately activated his skill, talent, frenzy, leapt into the air, and swung his fist at Chen Bai. Chen Bai didn't retreat. The blacklight virus morphed into a heavy hammer as he clashed head-on with Xing Meng. Xing Meng was the one sent flying instead. Yet, he wasn't injured. He charged back at Chen Bai to continue the fight, mocking him for being so weak. Wasn't he supposed to have S-tier talent? Why not show it off already? Little did he know, Chen Bai's talent had been at work all along. Xing Meng just hadn't noticed, though he suddenly grew stronger and sent Chen Bai flying. Before he could revel in his triumph, the next second, black blood spewed from his mouth. System notifications began flooding his screen. Countless viruses were ravaging his body. All his stats started rapidly deteriorating. One negative buff after another keeps popping up like crazy. Hang Meng was completely baffled. Chen Bai then signaled that his physique was quite good. The virus was only now starting to take effect. Hearing this, Hang Meng truly lost his composure. However, weakened beyond measure, how could he possibly be a match for Chen Bai? After Chen Bai finished him off, he used the blacklight virus to consume and absorb him. Hang Meng, the blacklight virus had finally achieved its initial awakening. Not only could it now access fragments of the target's memories, but it also had a chance to acquire their skills. Additionally, it granted a total of 190 points to all attributes. At this point, Chen Bai's stats could be considered the highest in the world. Ordinary people would shatter at the slightest touch from him. He picked up the item dropped by Hang Meng, only to find that it was a level 1 piece of equipment. There's also a blueprint for crafting C-grade equipment. Now, all these things belong to him. Next, Chen Bai walked toward the exit of the shipping container. Now, his talent has reached grade. And the three strange phenomena of Jiangkang in the early days of the apocalypse brought him a bountiful harvest. Song Ziqiang, the future ruler of Jiangkang in the apocalypse, was also subdued by him. With his current strength, there's no need for him to seek out the scattered zombie monsters that appeared sporadically before the trial of the apocalypse arrived. In the final days before the trial descended, Chen Bai also began preparing his schemes. In the last few days before the trial of the apocalypse, Chen Bai laid out numerous arrangements. Song Ziqiang and the others carried out his tasks flawlessly. Whether it was clearing out the villa district, to ensure immediate occupation once the apocalypse arrived, or stockpiling enough supplies. Everything was done thoroughly. Now, only 10 minutes remain until the apocalypse arrives. Over these past few days, many highly talented individuals joined the O created by Chen Bai. Chat Group 01. Due to Chen Bai's vast knowledge and air of mystery, everyone in the group regarded him as their leader, and Chen Bai warned them of the impending apocalypse, telling them to prepare. Time ticked away, second by second, till only the final 10 seconds remain. Song Ziqiang and the others began gathering around Chen Bai. Whether it was the coldly sarcastic Joker or the queen of both the underworld and the elite, all were gripped with tension. At the very last second, the trial of the apocalypse descended. The will of the cosmos enveloped the entire blue star. Countless humans turned into zombies. The survivors awakened their talents and became evolvers. They could level up by killing monsters and gaining experience. And it wasn't just humans participating in this trial. Other races also joined this evolutionary competition. In the end, countless rifts and secret realms would appear on Blue Star, waiting to be discovered. Chen Bai calmly observed all of this. After all, he had already experienced it in his previous life. At this moment, the hourglass of time hanging before him began to acknowledge Chen Bai as its master. This trump card was something he didn't want anyone to know about. He originally intended to dismiss Song Ziqiang and the others. But unexpectedly, time around him had already frozen. Even the crashing plane hung motionless in the sky. Then, a prompt echoed in Chen Bai's mind, causing even him to widen his eyes in shock. The hourglass of time's ability to return to the past wasn't a one-time use after all, though its cooldown required 72 years. And it also came with two powerful life-saving skills. Simply put, it could rewind time, allowing him to revert to his most perfect state, with a cooldown of just 1 hour. After the hourglass of time acknowledged its master, time resumed its flow. Song Ziqiang and the others noticed nothing unusual. Time moved to the next day. Song Ziqiang and the others began to display their respective talents and abilities. Before the apocalypse descended, Chen Bai had ordered them to fight and kill zombies. Now, their awakened talents have each leveled up. Song Ziqiang, her previous A-grade talent has evolved into the S-grade purple gold eyes. Now, she possesses two abilities: transforming objects into purple gold, and crystal insight, which allows her to inspect a target's attributes. Both effects improve with mental strength. Meanwhile, Song Ziqiang's bodyguard secretary Xuanger awakened the level 1 talent Assassin's Path. Aside from concealing her presence, her luck and fame attributes grow faster. Agility increases by 30% in shadows. The first strike against a target gains 100% attack speed. As for the little nurse, her awakened talent is Healer, capable of restoring others' health. Once everything was on track, Chen Bai also set out to claim the opportunities brought by the apocalypse trial. That treasure most would regret missing too late. A few hours later, Chen Bai arrived at Jiangqing University. He glanced at the fiery red emblem in the sky. The very thing every evolver longed to see in his past life. Soon, Chen Bai found it. He showed no arrogance as the apocalypse's top figure, for this was the projected avatar of Lado, the god of trade. Chen Bai was the first to meet him, and he lavished praise without pause. The god of trade, in his generosity, gifted Chen Bai a gold membership card, granting a 12% discount. Without wasting words, the god of trade displayed his merchandise for Chen Bai to browse. Inside, there's not only an S-grade Death God sniper rifle, but also an S-grade Thunderwalker job change scroll. Chen Bai was utterly astonished. Although he had long known the god of trade had good items, in his previous life, he never got to touch them. However, these things were just for him to look at. At the beginning of the apocalypse, he didn't have millions in gold coins. In fact, Chen Bai's purpose in seeking him wasn't to buy. It turned out that although gods could project avatars, they couldn't directly participate in the evolution trials. And the avatars gods sent down were also meant to find suitable candidates to invest in, to reap benefits from them. So Chen Bai had a simple goal. He wanted the god of trade to invest in him. As for what he wanted invested, Chen Bai bluntly stated his desire for that treasure even the gods coveted. In his past life, no one had managed to obtain it. Regarding this, Chen Bai directly revealed his great talent. The god of trade was somewhat surprised, because Chen Bai's talent was something even he had never heard of, different from any great talent he knew. Because of this, the evolution trials of Blue Star, he grew increasingly interested in. However, the god of trade had no intention of investing that treasure right now. But the god of trade decided to give Chen Bai a chance. Talent doesn't represent everything. Even among gods, there exist those with talents below grade 1. Chen Bai needs to prove himself through his own strength and growth. The next moment, this grade chain quest from the god of deals was issued to Chen Bai. Chen Bai accepted it without hesitation. The god of deals also staked his life. As long as the quest is completed, he can be summoned through gold coins. As for the ultimate treasure Chen Bai desired, it was a dual-class advancement scroll. Its overpowered nature lay in the fact that it allowed the user to simultaneously possess the growth of 2 classes, attributes, as well as class bonuses and skills, all taking effect at the same time. After the deal concluded, the god of deals bid farewell to Chen Bai and departed. As for Chen Bai's first quest in the chain, it was to locate the special dungeon at Jiangking University, defeat the monster the god of deals was observing, and retrieve a part of its body. It's just that this dungeon, in his previous life, Chen Bai hadn't heard of it. He still needed to search for it. At the same time, at the sports stadium in Jiangking, a group of college students were hiding from the zombie attacks. But scum exists everywhere. After the apocalypse arrived, the evil in their hearts was unleashed. Not to mention the looting. The foreign students, relying on their awakened talents, began to constantly bully others. Some of their companions couldn't stand it. This wasn't their country. They shouldn't go too far. But why would those foreigners listen to reason? Suddenly, the stadium doors were shattered. Chen Bai walked in, took a glance, and instantly appeared before that foreigner. With one swipe, he sent him to meet his maker in the west. As for the other foreigners, Chen Bai didn't spare them either. His mission location was already locked in. It was Jiangking's medical school. He needed someone to take him there. But none of the students in the stadium were from the medical school. Only the remaining blonde bombshell was. When Chen Bai turned his gaze toward her, the blonde bombshell immediately shouted that she hadn't hit anyone. She loved Dragon Country people. In Dragon Country terms, she was white on the outside, yellow on the inside. The others also vouched that she really hadn't hurt anyone. To get to the medical school, Chen Bai let her go. As for the others, Chen Bai arranged for them to go to the Jiangking Villa district he had occupied. The zombies along the way had already been cleared by him. By now, almost all survivors were evolvers. If they were still timid and hesitant, they might as well die sooner. The college students weren't ungrateful. They didn't complain about why he didn't escort them. Instead, they all thanked Chen Bai. After that, Chen Bai headed toward the medical school. Along the way, the blonde foreign girl, based on her understanding that men in Dragon Country loved foreign beauties, earnestly offered to become Chen Bai's big foreign horse. Chen Bai signaled that she had misunderstood. He had no interest in a horse ridden by thousands. Right now, he just needed her to take him to the medical school to retrieve something. Unexpectedly, after the foreign girl understood his words, she tried hard to explain that her horse was well maintained and had never been written by anyone else. To prove this, she could demonstrate. An hour later, in the gymnasium, Chen Bai confirmed she hadn't lied to him. But he didn't go easy on her either. Wrapping an arm around the foreign girl's slender waist, he rushed toward the medical school. After all, they'd already wasted over an hour. Soon, at the medical school's research building, though the foreign girl was somewhat dissatisfied with Chen Bai's roughness, she still told him that in the third-floor lab, the professor had stored many virus and bacterial samples. Before long, Chen Bai found the research lab the foreign girl had mentioned. As expected, a variety of viruses were placed here. Chen Bai absorbed all of them directly. Since most were flu viruses, Chen Bai's talent tree successfully unlocked this virus. This virus exceeded Chen Bai's expectations. He didn't expect that this flu virus could actually interrupt anything by sneezing. Chanted charging aiming skills. This was practically a god-tier crowd control ability. Previously, Chen Bai had browsed through modern viruses on the talent tree. He hadn't paid much attention to them. But now, it seemed worthwhile to unlock and upgrade some appropriately. However, thinking of the God of Trade's mission, Chen Bai still felt it was better to prioritize upgrading the Blacklight virus. He unlocked separately the ability to scale walls and walk on any surface or clothing, as well as focused concentration, which could greatly enhance dynamic vision and reaction speed, full control over all muscles in the body, and doubled combat focus. Now, with just a light punch through muscle burst, Chen Bai easily shattered a wall, allowing him to ensure every punch he threw was a full power strike. Moments later, Chen Bai and the other arrived at the underground virus storage. Chen Bai opened the incineration chamber. A secret realm entrance appeared before him, leaving the foreign woman outside. He entered this special nightmare dungeon without hesitation. The dungeon's level range was 5-10. Clearing the instance will permanently save it. Failure will result in permanent deletion after 2 days. This also made Chen Bai realize why he had never heard of this dungeon in his previous life. Although the zombies here had all undergone mutations, and some even possessed special abilities, none of them were a match for Chen Bai. His own stats had long surpassed the dungeon's level by who knows how much. Keep in mind that each level up only grants 2 free attribute points, yet the massive amount of experience still leveled Chen Bai up to level 4. After clearing the mobs, it was finally time for the final boss to appear. Despite Chen Bai's overpowered stats, he sensed danger from this boss. Chen Bai immediately decided to strike and eliminate it before it could fully manifest. He even used the flu virus, but the virus had no effect on the buff, and the boss sent Chen Bai flying with a single punch. The fully transformed Bio Fiend stood before Chen Bai. The arm that had been injured Chen Bai earlier was already rapidly healing. The next second, the two clashed fiercely again. Though Chen Bai shattered the Bio Fiend's arm with a single palm strike, the Bio Fiend possessed rapid regeneration. Chen Bai knew he had met his match. After an hour of intense combat, the Bio Fiend's regeneration began to slow. Even as Chen Bai's stamina neared its limit, he still had the hourglass of time, not afraid of a war-off attrition at all. The next second, Chen Bai rewound to his peak condition. Another hour later, the hourglass of time's cooldown was complete. Chen Bai was perfectly restored. Yet another hour passed. The Bio Fiend's regenerative ability had plummeted to rock bottom. Another hour went by. The Bio Fiend was reduced to nothing but a lump of flesh, unable to recover. Meanwhile, Chen Bai possessed the hourglass of time. With just an hour's cooldown, his condition would always reset to its peak. Next, Chen Bai crushed the Bio Fiend underfoot. He gained 10,000 EXP, allowing him to clear the level 5 dungeon and permanently preserve the instance. Chen Bai could even create a clear video. After uploading, it can be viewed for a fee. and the profits are all his. Chen Bai concealed his appearance, then uploaded the video to the forum opened by the will of the universe. Meanwhile, inside Song Ziqiang's villa, he discovered that Chen Bai had created a chat group. A notification popped up along with a video. They didn't hesitate and chose to pay to watch. As for everyone else in the group, they made the same unanimous choice. As for the evolvers outside, those with copper coins also paid to watch, wanting to know who this absolute legend was, who had already cleared a nightmare difficulty instance on the first day of the apocalypse. Just what kind of person he was. However, most people in Chen Bai's group, aside from being shocked by Chen Bai's strength, were also curious about that instant recovery ability. Chen Bai offered no explanation. But using the Blacklight virus Toadvour, that biochemically enhanced demon, the Blacklight virus has evolved once again. Health regeneration has increased to 300%, and it has acquired the passive skill of the Biofiend, cellular rebirth. This ability only requires consuming a certain amount of stamina to regenerate severed limbs. Next, Chen Bai checked the rewards dropped from the boss. The first was the Biofiend's job change scroll. It allows the absorption of other lifeforms to enhance oneself, though it may cause genetic collapse. The second was a bottle of grade C genetic essence. Consuming it can greatly improve one's physique. The last was a special piece of equipment, seemingly a top-tier item for women. Wearing it can improve one's figure over time. Chen Bai took a glance. Just check out the items dropped by the earlier mobs. There is a D-grade Activititsel skill book inside. Chen Bai possesses. The premium version of cell regeneration doesn't require this. It can be used to trade for some items with the folks in the group. And Chen Bai also kept a portion for himself, handing over his body to the god of transactions. Just as Chen Bai was about to leave the dungeon, he suddenly sensed something was off. The god of transactions wouldn't come here for no reason. He recalled what the god of transactions said before leaving, calling him an unexpected gain. Then the only reason for descending upon Jiangking University was it for this secret dungeon. But what Chen Bai obtained seemed like nothing worthy of a god's attention. Chen Bai then wondered if he had overlooked something. He turned his gaze toward the incinerator. This was the only place he hadn't seen before. Before long, Chen Bai reached the end. Looking at the pipes above, Chen Bai leaped up. He climbed upward relentlessly. After dozens of seconds, he reached the top. Yet there was nothing here either. So Chen Bai began tapping around. Suddenly, a grotesque face was knocked loose by Chen Bai. Instinctively, Chen Bai elbowed it. After regaining his composure, Chen Bai examined it carefully. He found that even the will of the cosmos couldn't detect what it was, and what this implied. Chen Bai knew all too well. Either it was a fragment of an great artifact, or it was an item related to the gods. Chen Bai instantly understood the trade god's objective. It was definitely the thing in his hands. Chen Bai had no intention of handing it over. Once he exited the dungeon instance, the foreign girl immediately looked at Chen Bai with admiration. Turns out she had also seen the video Chen Bai posted. Hearing this, Chen Bai checked the gold coins on his system panel. He noticed his gold count was skyrocketing. Chen Bai only needed to wait until he had 1,000 coins to unlock the warehouse. Then he could store that mask inside. With the will of the cosmos protecting it, the trade god would never sense it. To wait until he had enough gold, Chen Bai and the foreign girl went to a love hotel. This hotel didn't have much else, but there were plenty of people in brown clothes, whether it's teachers or high school girls, or even skinny bitches. He's got them all. Chen Bai plans to open his new battlefield here, waiting for his gold coins to reach 1,000. And just now, after Chen Bai's gold coins reached 1,000, he immediately unlocked the warehouse space protected by the will of the universe, and placed that unknown mask inside. Then, Chen Bai took out the token to summon the god of trade. The god of trade hadn't expected Chen Bai to complete the task so quickly. Chen Bai tossed the boss's flesh chunk in front of the god of trade, but this made the deity's expression change. Because the flesh was clearly not fresh, a condition that only occurs several hours after the kill, the god of trade seemed to sense something and questioned Chen Bai. Why didn't he summon him immediately? Didn't he want that supreme treasure anymore? Chen Bai had already prepared his response. He immediately fired back at the god of trade, saying how much he respected and worshipped him. So why did he hide the dungeon's difficulty from him? A nightmare-level dungeon on the first day of the apocalypse. If not for his tricks, he would have died inside. The god of trade showed no remorse upon hearing this, because this was also a test of Chen Bai's strength. That dual-class supreme treasure would only be given to the strongest. Now that Chen Bai had proven his strength, the god of trade had also prepared the first reward for him. The highest available item quality is B grade. Chen Bai can choose any one item from the goods. Chen Bai didn't hesitate. He selected a B grade town portal scroll. The god of trade felt slightly surprised. Chen Bai, however, had a keen eye for value. The worth of the town portal scroll could easily be considered the highest among the options. Next, the god of trade issued Chen Bai the final step of his quest. This task made the town portal scroll in Chen Bai's hand seem far less appealing, because the god of trade actually demanded that he obtain 2 grade class change scrolls in order to receive that ultimate treasure, the dual class scroll. It must be noted that in Chen Bai's past life, the number of people with grade classes did not exceed 10. Now, he was suddenly required to obtain 2. Even the gods didn't start with grade classes. The god of trade admitted his initial class was only grade 1, but that was his most prized treasure. Countless deities coveted it. Without the best opportunity, he would never invest it elsewhere. Chen Bai knew he couldn't change the terms, and had no choice but to accept. At the same time, the villa district where Song Ziqiang and the others were staying was suddenly attacked by a level 5 mutant giant rat. Many had already died in its jaws. Song Ziqiang was helpless against the mutant giant rat. Zhou Yi tried to persuade Song Ziqiang to flee first, but the mutant giant rat had already locked onto the 2 women. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Chen Bai has returned, effortlessly slaying the mutated giant rat. Song Ziqiang was overjoyed to see Chen Bai. Their backbone had finally returned. Chen Bai glanced around, ordering Song Ziqiang to arrange compensation for the families of the fallen. Afterward, Chen Bai returned to the villa, investigating the origin of the mutated giant rat. After pinpointing the location, Chen Bai also told everyone to rest first. He would go to clear it out tomorrow. But unexpectedly, Song Ziqiang suddenly said he wanted to recommend someone to take care of Chen Bai. The next second, a stunningly beautiful young woman walked in. Song Ziqiang told Chen Bai she had once been a trainee lawyer. Hearing this, Chen Bai's eyes lit up, agreeing to let the lawyer stay. The young woman looked at Chen Bai, her cheeks flushed with shyness. She had already prepared herself, hinting that Chen Bai could do anything to her. Chen Bai lifted her chin. He had heard that lawyers were very slick with their words. He kind of wanted to test it out. The young woman understood Chen Bai's meaning and didn't refuse. An hour later, Chen Bai entered sage mode. He had the young woman, Qin Lingyu, stand before the floor-to-ceiling window. She clearly misunderstood Chen Bai's intention. In reality, Chen Bai wanted Qin Lingyu to plan out the zones, the villa area they were in, the upscale residential area halfway down the mountain, and the neighborhood at the foot. Chen Bai wanted the 3 zones to have different rules. To put it simply, if you want to live well, you have to climb upward. After finishing the setup, Chen Bai took an interest in Qin Lingyu again. Time moved to the next day. At the sewer exit where the mutated giant rats were, Chen Bai wasn't just there to clear them out, but also to lead his followers in leveling up. The crowd cheered, "Long live Emperor Bai," when Chen Bai casually destroyed the iron bars at the exit. A special mission triggered before everyone's eyes. The mission required killing all mutated giant rats and the Rat King, and investigating the source of the rat mutation. The reward would be determined upon completion. Soon, Chen Bai's group encountered the horde of mutated rats. With the Blacklight virus's enhancement, these mutated rats were no match for Chen Bai. As for the few that slipped through, he let his subordinates finish them off. A few hours later, Chen Bai's team had cleared 16 pipes. Suddenly, one subordinate let out a shocked cry. Turns out, another mutated giant rat appeared ahead. Song Ziqiang originally wanted to use the Insight Crystal to check its stats, but this giant rat was none other than the level 7 Rat King Leopard. With all stats above 30, no one present was a match for it. Except Chen Bai, of course. His stats compared to Little Leopard's were practically a dimensional downgrade attack, with just a single palm strike on the Rat King. The Rat King was dead beyond dead. They obtained the Rat King Leopard's equipment, the Plague Boots, which were also part of a set. It also took Chen Bai somewhat by surprise. Now that the Rat King was dead, the only remaining task was to investigate the source of the mutation. As Chen Bai ventured deeper into the pipes, plague viruses of unfamiliar types suddenly appeared ahead. Not just in the sewers, but even on Blue Star itself. None of these bizarre plague viruses had ever been seen before. Chen Bai knew the source of the mutation couldn't be far now. So he instructed Song Ziqiang and the others to return first, while he pressed onward alone. These plague viruses were, in fact, the finest nourishment for him. When Chen Bai reached the end of the passage, a corpse suddenly appeared before him. Though the corpse was saturated with potent viruses, the scroll in its hand was the true source of all the pathogens. Chen Bai took it and unrolled it to examine its contents. To his surprise, it contained a prophecy from a plague cult. During this trial on Blue Star, the god they worshipped would ignite the divine flame and ascend to the supreme throne of divinity. To achieve this, they sacrificed their own world and resolutely joined this trial. Yet the name, Plague Cult, was something Chen Bai had never heard of in his past life. But he didn't care. After absorbing the terrifying viruses carried by the scroll, his power would once again leap forward. Yet in the next moment, an abrupt mutation occurred. A searing heat surged through Chen Bai's palm. Chen Bai had no time to worry about completing the sewer mission, for a mark had appeared on his hand. It is still proof of being a core member of the Plague Sect. A series of quests popped up in succession, and they were all S-rank quests. In the quest description, the Plague Sect had brought countless treasures to Blue Star to welcome the true god of their prophecy. Meanwhile, the Plague Wings in Chen Bai's palm granted him the qualification to become the prophesied true god. Thus, Chen Bai needed to find a plague emissary to undergo their trial. Chen Bai hadn't expected his luck to be this good. Trampling the goddess Helrose underfoot, he took yet another step forward. After accepting the divine quest, a plague-themed dungeon instance materialized before him. However, its opening time was set a month later, and its difficulty level was even harder than Nightmare Tier. Hell-level dungeon. Chen Bai didn't mind. A month later, he would have grown exponentially stronger. Meanwhile, on Song Ziqiang's side, a mutated giant rat dungeon had also spawned, with only normal difficulty, accessible to players between levels 1-10. Each person was limited to 3 attempts per day. And this was perfect for Chen Bai's subordinates to grind levels. The moment Song Ziqiang saw it, she made arrangements immediately. These people began entering in batches, without Chen Bai needing to lift a finger. Regarding this, Chen Bai had Song Ziqiang and the other girls join him in the dungeon to train their combat skills. Inside the dungeon, he merely acted as a safety net. Chen Bai also had Song Ziqiang and the others Join another chat group of his called the White Emperor Palace. Song Ziqiang was shocked by Chen Bai's Evolver ID. Chen Bai downplayed it with a hint of humble bragging, saying he was just the first person to awaken his talent before the apocalypse trial. At this point, the school belle, Brother Song, pouted and asked Chen Bai why she hadn't received an invite to the chat group. Hearing this, Chen Bai smirked and leaned closer to her, teasingly telling Brother Song that this was his harem group, and only loyal, capable people could join. A little girl who wet her pants from fear of zombies wouldn't get an invitation. This nearly shattered the Sundeer school belle's composure from sheer embarrassment. But he wanted even more to prove himself in front of Chen Bai. Regarding this, Chen Bai took out the equipment and let Brother Song pick for himself. He wanted to see just how much this campus belle had grown. Moments later, inside the mutated giant rat dungeon, Brother Song was no longer a little girl who would wet herself in fear. She actively engaged in battle against those mutated giant rats. Unaware of Brother Song's talent, Chen Bai asked Su Li, "What are their talents?" Su Li indicated that her talent was B grade, Illusory Mirage, which allowed her to create intangible phantoms based on imagination. Brother Song's talent, on the other hand, was C grade, Gifted Intellect, with the ability to increase experience and proficiency growth by 50%. Essentially an accelerated growth type. However, it provided 0 combat bonuses. So, after taking down 3 mutated giant rats, Brother Song turned her beautiful eyes toward Chen Bai, clearly seeking praise. Chen Bai obliged, signaling that he could make an exception and let her join his White Emperor Palace. The campus belle's Sundeer tendencies flared up again, and she began speaking against her true feelings, saying she just wanted to prove herself. Chen Bai, however, didn't indulge her invitation. He simply didn't send it. Instantly, the campus belle was on the verge of tears, her face twisting with embarrassment, blushing as she admitted she actually wanted to join. Yet, Chen Bai felt like teasing her. Hearing Chen Bai say he was reluctant, she still refused, genuinely on the verge of breaking down. At that moment, her mother, Song Ziqiang, stepped in to defuse the situation. They say Brother Song is Sundeer because last night he introduced Qin Lingyu to him, pouting that Chen Bai didn't tease this cute campus belle, and the invited campus belle was instantly overjoyed. As for Song Ziqiang, she gave Chen Bai a seductive look, hinting that something good awaited him tonight. He better not fall asleep. Meanwhile, in a luxury hotel suite, Chen Bai was clearing the sewer dungeon. After the video was posted, those in the #1 group chat were once again filled with awe. After all, it was only the second day of the apocalypse. Yet these highly talented individuals hadn't even caught a glimpse of a dungeon. Liu Huai, who had once sought Chen Bai's help to understand his S-tier talent, looked at the girls in the video and couldn't help but feel envious. He also wished to follow the group leader and receive his guidance. After Chen Bai and the others cleared the dungeon 3 times, he brought Song Ziqiang to the study and handed her 3 items, including the flesh wall that grows by devouring flesh, and that town portal crafting scroll. Song Ziqiang was confident. With these 2, she could conquer Zhang City in no time. As for the last item, equipment that alters one's figure, Chen Bai smirked mischievously at Song Ziqiang. The implication was obvious. Song Ziqiang had long submitted to Chen Bai, willing to play along with whatever he desired. He even wished that Chen Bai would never grow tired of him. And tonight, he also has a gift to present to Chen Bai. The night is long. Only the light in Chen Bai's bedroom never goes out. At dawn, Chen Bai put on the plague robe he had obtained. Now, he only needs 3 more pieces to complete the set. Suddenly, at this moment, a guild member named Meng Meng initiated a private chat with Chen Bai. Simply put, they wanted Chen Bai to guide them in combat techniques. Chen Bai didn't refuse. but made it clear up front. They needed to share their talent info first. On the other side, the sweet, pink-haired, twin-tailed girl saw this. Without the slightest hesitation, she trusted Chen Bai completely and immediately typed out her talent info for him to see, causing Chen Bai's eyes to widen in an instant. Because Meng Meng's talent was too overpowering. It was actually an S-tier talent, just like his. But what puzzled Chen Bai was, in his previous life, he had never heard of someone named Meng Meng. Could it be that they fell early on? And Meng Meng began explaining his abilities. The first, Dream Butterfly, allowed him to enter a dream world identical to reality. Of course, he could also enter others' dreams. Anything from the dream could be brought into reality. The second ability, Dream of Power, let him alter anything within the dream world. As for the final ability, Shared Dream, it allowed him to create a dream totem and invite others into his dream world. Chen Bai could already sense how terrifying this talent was. As long as his true body wasn't found, wouldn't that make him invincible? Because, as their conversation continued, the absurdity of this talent became even more apparent. Chen Bai would never willingly step into a stranger's domain. But to convince him, Meng Meng offered to form a contract. The only catch was that it required 10 gold coins. However, Meng Meng's talent allowed him to kill monsters in dreams, and they would die in reality too. He could even tweak the drop rates using Dream of Power. With just a bit of grinding, he easily got the 10 gold coins. He even threw in a D-grade skill book and a construction token. The reason Meng Meng was willing to pay such a high price was that despite being strong in dreams, but in reality, he's pathetically weak. If he doesn't improve himself, his true form might be discovered instead. He feels there's a high chance he'll die. This premonition is correct. Chen Bai had indeed never heard of Meng Meng's rise in his previous life. But now, it also gives him the opportunity to recruit her. Such a strong talent would be a waste if not used by him. After signing the Evolver contract sent by Meng Meng, Chen Bai lay back on the bed. He only needed to stare at the totem sent by Meng Meng, and he could enter the dream world in 3 minutes. If it could be developed later to the point of entering the dream upon sight, then this ability would be terrifyingly powerful. After all, in the dream world, isn't everything up to the creator? Chen Bai also met this sweet girl in the dream, and Meng Meng was already prepared. A portal appeared in front of Chen Bai. Meng Meng signaled that she had cleared a gymnasium and could teach him combat there. Chen Bai, however, was stunned by the vastness of this world. Meng Meng explained that the dream world exists independently and mirrors reality, so it wasn't created by him. As a dreamwalker, he could only enter and modify it. But in this dream world, Meng Meng is somewhat like a god. Truly, whatever she thinks comes to life. Before the training began, Chen Bai wanted to see Meng Meng's current combat level. Yet in the dream world, all of Meng Meng's attributes are equal to her spirit. His current mental power is at 48. So his fist attributes are also at 48 points. Yet even with such high stats, in front of Chen Bai, it's still like a baby learning to ride a bike. Meng Meng stayed silent, only swinging his wild punches relentlessly. Chen Bai kept his speed controlled around 20. Meng Meng couldn't even graze a hair on him. However, Chen Bai also began earnestly teaching Meng Meng, correcting his combat mistakes bit by bit, making Meng Meng benefit greatly in an instant. Of course, Chen Bai wasn't stingy with his praise either, causing this sweet little Meng Meng to have his favorability toward Chen Bai skyrocket. Time flew by, and 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. During these days, Chen Bai had been clearing out nearby zombies and organizing the faction he established. At night, he'd enter the dream realm to teach Meng Meng. After everything was fully arranged, he was also going out to search for this class job change scroll. Hearing this, Song Ziqiang felt somewhat disheartened inside. but also understood she couldn't stop Chen Bai's progress. She only whispered in Chen Bai's ear to remember to come back to them sooner, and that tonight she wouldn't let him off easy. When the next day arrived, as Chen Bai was preparing to leave, Shuang'er came looking for him. Turns out there were people gathered at the foot of the mountain causing trouble. Chen Bai was a bit displeased. The rules had long been established. Why weren't they handling it according to protocol? It wasn't that Shuang'er lacked competence, because, in the settlement, a copper coin is collected daily as protection money. Those who claim to be Chen Bai's classmates don't want to pay. They want to freeload. So they take the moral high ground, saying things like, "In the apocalypse, we should help each other." Not only do they refuse to pay, but they also demand more resources. In reality, a single copper coin isn't expensive. Just kill one zombie, and you'll have it. So, for these people, Chen Bai couldn't be bothered to argue. He directly dealt with the loudest troublemaker, then ordered those who wouldn't follow the rules to get the hell out of his settlement. With their leader dead, the rest immediately cowered in fear. As for leaving the safety of the settlement, that was out of the question. They dropped to their knees and begged for mercy, pleading for another chance. Chen Bai ignored them, letting Shuang'er handle the matter. At that moment, Meng Meng sent him a private message. Despite the training she'd received over the past few days, which had improved her combat skills significantly, she still felt safer by Chen Bai's side and wanted to join him. Upon learning that Meng Meng was in a neighboring city, Wuching, Chen Bai decided to fetch her personally. Besides, the S-class profession he obtained in his previous life was also in Wuching, so he could claim it now. Meanwhile, in a hotel somewhere in Jiangking, a group of over a dozen college students had gathered. Due to the mutated zombies outside, they didn't dare leave, and their remaining supplies were running low. Suddenly, they caught sight of a figure moving effortlessly between the high rises. But it was too fast. Impossible to see clearly. This boy, Zhang Luping, feared it might be a special zombie. Wanted to close the curtains to avoid being spotted. But Wei Jiaohua, the most beautiful among them, was different. His sixth sense told him it was a human. As for Chen Bai, he also noticed that zombie tyrant, and one of his blueprints required the tyrant's bones. His blacklight virus switched to the power claw form. Amid the gasps of Jiaohua and the others, and their stunned expressions, that zombie tyrant, which they could never defeat, was effortlessly slain. After devouring the zombie tyrant, the blacklight virus evolved two new forms: muscle enhancement, which could strengthen any part of his body, and a shield form, with defense twice that of his original body. Jiaohua finally got a clear look at Chen Bai's face, and couldn't help but call out to him. Chen Bai looked up in confusion. He hadn't expected anyone here to know his name. Meanwhile, inside the hotel, Zhang Luping quickly covered Jiaohua's mouth, thinking Jiaohua had mistaken him for someone else. But Chen Bai had already reached the window. His voice asking the question confirmed to Jiaohua that it was indeed Chen Bai. Chen Bai did recognize this Wei Jiaohua, because he was Brother Song's close friend. They are hailed as the twin flowers of Zhang University. Campus Belle Wei quickly invites Chen Bai into the hotel. Inside the hotel, Chen Bai explains his situation. He has established a settlement of several hundred people. Currently, Song Ziqiang is managing it for him. Instantly, Campus Belle Wei's eyes light up as she looks at Chen Bai. The others are also stunned. They know exactly who Song Ziqiang is. Yet now, she actually submits to Chen Bai. Suddenly, a few more people push the door open and enter. Chen Bai stands up in surprise. Turns out, they are Chen Bai's college roommates. After catching up for a while, Chen Bai signals that they can go to the settlement he created. But he makes it clear up front, he won't make exceptions. They must hand in 1 copper coin daily. Zhang Luping and the others aren't entirely opposed, but they're afraid of encountering monsters. like zombies or tyrants. They subtly hint at wanting Chen Bai to escort them. Chen Bai shakes his head slightly. The zombies along the way have already been cleared by him. He even takes out some low-tier equipment, though only for his two roommates and Wei Jiaohua. With that settled, Chen Bai has his own matters to attend to. So he bids farewell to the group. Not even a minute after Chen Bai leaves, Meng Meng suddenly sends him a private message. A group member needs his help. This person is none other than Han Xiu, the first to join Chen Bai's chat group. Just as Zhang Luping and the others are pondering how to safely reach the settlement, they discovered that Chen Bai had returned again. He signaled that he needed a room to handle some matters. The two roommates then took him to see their own bedrooms. Suddenly, Campus Balui thought of something. Asked Chen Bai if he knows Brother Song's Evolver ID. He wants to add Brother Song as a friend. The two robust roommates also planned to add Chan Pak as a friend. It was only when Chan Pak mentioned the number 001. Roommates simply doesn't believe it. Yet another chubby kid for Seda Rai smile and gesture. He'll know it himself at home. As expected. He extended an invitation and Chen Bai agreed. He was so shocked that he completely lost his composure. They never expected that. Chen Bai turned out to be the first person in the world to awaken their innate talent. Just 10 days before Theapocalypse came to mind, Chen Bai deliberately lied to them about having a fitness test. Let them work out for nothing for a week. The other two roommates can't help but speculate. Did Chan Pak know in advance about the apocalypse? Benefiting from exercise. It also made both of them very grateful to Chan Pak. Chen Bai had just returned to the bedroom. The school beauty Wei suddenly got all red-faced and flustered. At this moment, his heart was filled with immense conflict and bashfulness. My mind keeps flashing back to the handsome figure of Chan Pak. All of this is still because of his conversation with Brother Song. What Brother Song said inside, he's not unaware of what it means. I don't actually dislike Chen Bai in my heart, just too shy to think about it. The scene of serving Chen Bai together with Brother Song. Suddenly, two voices interrupted his fantasy. It turned out to be Jiang Luoping and a guy named Bai Feng. They didn't believe Chan Pak had accomplished anything. How could someone as bad as his Song Zixiong listen to him? Also planning to stir up some trouble. On the other hand, Chen Bai sighed. He then entered the dream world. There were two other people in this dream. They are all people from Theno 001 group created by Chan Pak. The first one is an S-Gradetalent, the mind controller, Han Xiu. The second one is the S's Gradetalent Fear Incarnate Crow. The smiling man is Numb. S-tier talent is actually the lowest. And this time it was him who asked for help. This is all thanks to Meng Meng's talent. Developed a new ability, with one of the Driantatoms as the core. Let others teleport to his side. Otherwise, even Chen Bai can't help him. As for Han Xiu's troubles, this is an S-rank exclusive Essian about his family. The instance where the mission isolated is the nightmare level Han Xiu. He's been in there once. But there's simply no way to win. Han Xiu originally planned to wait until his level was higher before coming. The universe kept reminding him. If we don't solve it quickly, this dungeon might just disappear. Upon hearing this, Chen Bai didn't hesitate. Leading Evrioni into the dungeon. Appearing before them, she was a monstrous female nurse. The crow wanted to test his skills. The next second, a fair incarnate resembling a scarecrow appeared behind him. Suddenly, the female carriage avercolapsed to the ground. His heart began to beat violently. The crow snapped its fingers. Fear mode green burst. The female nurse shear instantly exploded. And a D-grade skillbook was revealed. Neither Crow nor Han Xiu want it. And Meng Meng is also very suitable for psychic abilities. The skillbook was then handed to him. Chen Bai also let them use this skill. Lure all the monsters out of the ward. Otherwise, searching one biome would be too troublesome. Upon hearing this, A sharp scream erupted from Meng Meng's mouth. The monsters inside the entire mental hospital, they were all drawn out. Seeing this, Meng Meng couldn't help but feel a little worried. With so many monsters, won't something go wrong? Chen Bai signaled no problem. Just in time, he also wanted to try out his new skills. Seeing this, Hang Xiu used spiritual power to control the fleeing sword and slay those monsters. The crow also utilized his talent. Take out all the monsters near him. Meng Meng was even more over the top. Directly create a rocket launcher in the dream. Start blasting those monsters to hell. Watching with a smile, his heart was filled with envy. After this, abilities will improve. Afraid one could create Gundams in dreams. However, compared to Chen Bai, it seemed somewhat inferior. Chen Bai's dark, gleaming claw suddenly plunged into the ground. Countless spikes erupted from the ground. He just straight up pierced through all the remaining monsters in one go. The 3 people present were stunned. However, there were still 12 female nurses left. Seeing this, Hank Shu wanted to finish them off. Chen Bai, however, caught the bare blade with his bare hands. Hoi Sum felt a bit like crying, blocking his own attack with one hand. Is he really that bad? And these 2 nurses were also deliberately left behind by Chen Bai because of his blacklight virus, able to read the other person's memories. The next second he saw in the nurse's memory. Their bodies were marked with a brand. A man seemed to want to sacrifice them. And it's even given some 16 demons. Through these memories, it also reminded Chan Pak of previous life. Indeed, there is a mental hospital dungeon related to demons. It's just that his level was too high back then. Can't get into the dungeon anymore. Just didn't pay much attention to it. Next, it's time to look for the mission clues related to Hank Xiu. Chen Bai also reminded them to be careful. There might be a powerful boss inside the dungeon. And they were inside the hospital. After more than half an hour of searching, apart from the frequent appearance of the number 16, no useful clues were found. Suddenly, an overwhelming aura emanated from ahead of them. It instantly put Chen Bai and the others on high alert. A creature, neither human nor ghost, slowly emerged. He claims to be the director of a mental institution. Also the 16th of the 72 pillar demons of Solomon. The envoy of Thedman God Festival sect. But he took a liking to Meng Meng, wants to offer her to the master, gave birth to their descendants. As long as you promise him, can spare others from suffering. Meng Meng straight up spat out a pft. Angrily scolded him to go give birth to children for the master himself. Chen Bai sneered disdainfully. But it's just a low-level demon transformed from a human. What skills do you have to be so boastful? This enraged the demonic Dean. With a loud roar, the master bestowed power upon him. A demonic shadow materialized out of thin air, looking down at everyone. Instantly, several people felt a splitting headache. Even Meng Meng felt extremely uncomfortable. Chen Bai didn't expect it to be the psychic ability he hated the most. The demon's own mental strength isn't low, but dragging it out would be disadvantageous for him. Chen Bai decided to settle it quickly. When he punched the demonic Dean with a fist, unexpectedly, the demonic Dean suddenly erupted with hellish words. Fortunately, Chan Pak blocked it with the black light shield. The demon Dean was somewhat surprised. But the scales of victory were tipping in his favor. After all, Chan Pak can't get close to him now. The final outcome is the crushing weight of mental pressure. Crushed, but didn't expect the unexpected to happen. Hoi Sum suddenly realized that as long as projected her mental energy outward, let go and resist the oppression of the demon Dean. It turns out that Hank Xiu is actually a descendant of the 16th demon god. But later, it seemed he betrayed the demon god. So the demonic Dean not only didn't respect Hank Xiu as the young master, still want to hunt him down? Go to the master to get the reward. Next, the demonic Dean took a deep breath, ready to unleash the flames awful and burn everyone to ashes. The three of them were about to go and stop it. But unexpectedly, Thiedman suddenly sneezed. This instantly left the three attackers baffled. It turns out that this was precisely the effect of Chan Pak's virus taking hold. Before coming, Chen Bai had already contracted that sneeze-inducing virus, upgraded and evolved into a lung infection. It's a difference in physical constitution between both parties that lasts from 1 second to 10 minutes. Entering the first phase, not only will all attributes decrease, there will also be a random occurrence of 3-5 illness-type debuffs. All charging and spellcasting will be affected by the sneezing effect, leading to reduced accuracy or failure. The demonic Dean thought Chen Bai was joking. As a demon, how could he possibly get sick? Little did they know that Thieling infection had a second stage. All of its recovery abilities are directly reduced by 90%. Breathing capacity begins to fail. Until the third stage, when the ability to breathe is lost. The demonic Dean died directly at the hands of Chen Bai's virus. And that horrific scene made death other three tremble in fear. The mischievous ones signaled that they would behave well. Hearing Chen Bai's command, don't use any flu virus on them. After hearing Chan Pak's repeated assurances, everyone finally breathed a sigh of relief. Next up, Chen Bai is ready to post the look-through video to earn coins. Others don't really matter. Let Chen Bai conceal their appearances. However, Hangxiu's mission did not indicate completion. The mission clues are still hidden somewhere. And with the release of Chen Bai's video, Song Ziqiang and the others saw it right away. Of course, the same goes for those evolvers, since Chen Bai had previously slaughtered the zombie tyrants, using black money. Guang Lizard Claw, even thus still hiding his appearance now. But those highly recognizable twin claws, yet Wei Jiaohua and the others still recognized her. What they just called an understand was, isn't Chen Barite in the hotel? How did you manage to clear the dungeon again? At the same time, it further confirmed a certain thought in their minds. That's how strong Chan Pak is. It relies on attracting people to his gathering place. Then, through a series of exploitations, they sustain themselves. Wei Ziyouhu immediately stood up. Rebuttal: Chan Pak isn't that kind of person. And she even showed the video her best friend Brother Song sent her. The first thing that catches the eye is a wall of flesh. The entire base is protected by a wall of flesh and blood. Sense of security's extremely high. Then the scene abruptly shifts. Brother Song began introducing their settlement at the foot of the mountain. Tell the rules within. Then it was halfway up the mountain. The residences of some high-ranking relatives. The back area is the Hilltop Villa district. It is also the area where Chan Pak resides. After finishing his sentence, Brother Song gave a suggestive look. Hurry up and come over, Wei Jiaohua. Given Chen Bai's playboy nature, he definitely lives in the villa district. Hurry over and become real sisters with him. The few of them combined cowled handle Chen Bai. As soon as these ambiguous words were spoken, Wei Jiaohua felt too ashamed to show her face. He let out a shy whimper. He regretted. I didn't watch the video Brother Song sent me right away. Unexpectedly, Jiang Wuping got anxious. He had always admired the campus Belle Wei. With a hopeful expression, she begged him not to become Chen Bai's woman. This made Wei Jiaohua unhappy. He didn't say he wanted to be Chen Bai's girlfriend. Zhang Luping nodded eagerly like a clown. Crazy belittling Chen Bai is just a scumbag. Not like me, who only no-show to be good to him alone. Actually, before the apocalypse, the school beauty repeatedly rejected his advances. So now, they're not giving Jiang Luping any face at all. He directly reiterated it. I don't like you at all. Stop bothering me. At the same time, inside the mental hospital dungeon, Chen Bai is using the blacklight virus to devour the demon Dean. At this moment, he received a hint from his innate talent. If the special bloodline factor of the demon is absorbed, it will have an impact on Theblaklet virus and himself. Regarding this, Chen Bai didn't hesitate to exclude the bloodline factor. Right after Chan Pak obtained Theblaklet virus evolution points, still got it. The Demon Dean's ultimate turbaning desire skill. To Chen Bai's surprise, the expelled bloodline factor did not vanish. Instead, it formed a class of pharmaceutical type item. After use, you will gain a faint trace of demonic bloodline. Next, Chan Pak escaped the three of them. Did the Demon Dean drop any good loot? Smiling and nodding. There's an A-grade Hellmessenger job change book, and an S-rank Hellfire skill book, and a blueprint along with D-grade armor equipment. The maximum level 4 production blueprints is S-rank. However, the final product is determined by the forged material. Regarding this, Chan Pak accepted it without further ado. Hand the A-grade skill book to Meng Meng. The job change scroll comes with a smile. The final equipment was obtained by Crow. Regarding this assignment, no one had any objections. Afterwards, they arrived at the dean's office, searching for clues to the mission of Hanxiu. It was just when the door opened. Hanxiu couldn't help but widen his eyes. A terrifying demon appeared before his eyes. It's just a statue, that's all. Still, the 16th demon among 72 pillars of Solomon. The reason the statue is so majestic, it's because that Demungid once stayed there. Right after, a diary was discovered by Meng Meng. The above tells the origin of the Hanxiu family. It turns out that 100 years ago, a woman from the Han family fell in love and united with the 16th demon god. Since then, the Han family gives birth to a pair of dragon phoenix twins in every generation. After a girl comes of age, unaware that she had become the bride of the demon god, the boy continues to settle down and build a career, get married and have children. Endless reincarnation. As for Hanxiu's father, then the truth of the family was discovered. To prevent her own daughter live a lifetime in pain, he who had intended to end his daughter's life with his own hands. But the demon dean found out and reported it to the demon god. Hanxiu's father was thus stripped of his bloodline. Hanxiu's younger sister was taken away and adopted by the demon god. The demonic dean was thus rewarded by the demon god for his deeds. After Meng Meng finished speaking, smiling triggered the follow-up mission. At this moment, Chan Pak seemed to have noticed something. When touching a certain joint of the statue, a secret room appeared before everyone. As the group continued to delve deeper, Chan Bai seemed to have already understood something. It turns out the secret room here was used by the demonic dean for sacrifices, the place to communicate with the demon god. Chan Bai found something at the center of the altar. That was a summoning artifact for the demon god's beat. However, the summoned demon god will be restricted to level 12 by the dungeon. Everyone couldn't help but feel extremely excited. If we take down the demon god, then they must have struck it rich. However, Chan Pak retorted by asking them about their respective levels. The result was that Meng Meng had the highest level at 5. At a low level, no gear, no job change, and you summoned the demon god. That's just asking for trouble. Even if Chan Pak is there, it still won't work. Although the Demungid's level is restricted, but it's not that easy to hunt down. Chan Bai decided to wait until Thale reached level 12 before coming. However, just as Evrianu was about to leave the dream, with a smile, he voiced his doubt. The trial of the apocalypses just descended. What about his family then? Why is it said that the demon god descended dupe in Blue Star 100 years ago? Chan Bai then asked his father, were there any anomalies before the apocalypse arrived? Smiling to indicate there was none. The most unique aspect lies in, after his father turned into a zombie, he was different from the others. But it's not so demonic zombie. But the father turned into a plague covered entirely in purple and green fungal patches. At that time, zombie Hanxiu count get close at all. And because of this, He was forced to quickly master the ability of telekinesis, send his father down to rest. However, the plague appeared. Hang Xiao thought it was because of his father working at the chemical factory. His father's Kalia Geselso had plaque. This information reminded Chen Bai of the plague sect. So he decided. Afterwards, they headed to Thiedman City where Hang Xiao resided. Chen Bai returned from the dream world. He discovered that this room was poisoned. A few people got knocked down. This is also Chen Bai's precaution against any unforeseen incidents. He intentionally released a lot of viruses in his own room. Although not fatal, but the debuff from illness can stack up to dozens of layers. Moving even a little is incredibly difficult. The only one who didn't enter the room was the campus bell Wei. Told Chan Pak the reason. It turned out that Zhang Luping wanted to kill him, which triggered this reason. It was when the school beauty Wei rejected Zhang Luping's love confession to his face. It completely shattered his defenses. The thought of killing Can Bai rose in my heart. Make the campus Balui change her mind. Before the end of the world. Zhang Luping has done this too. Even if there's no murder or anything. Also keeps men who get close to Wei Zhaohua at a distance. To drive someone out by any means necessary. If it weren't for Brother Song protecting me back then, those underhanded tactics might be used on Wei, the campus belle. It's also that Zhang Luping's Sig awakened talent isn't strong. Otherwise, Wei Zhao warily wouldn't dare, staying in the same hotel as Zhang Luping. As she spoke, the campus, Belle Wei Anxi again looked at Chen Bai with admiration. Only he can make me feel completely safe. Seeing Chan Pak preparing to deal with Chung Lo Ping, the school Belle Wei, who utterly despised him, had another proposal. That was in front of Zhang Luping. Let him see with his own eyes that he and Chen Bai are kissing. Make Zhang Luping deal with everlasting regret. Of course, Chan Pak thinks and kiss is far from enough. Although Wei Zhaohua is shy. But didn't refuse either. The next day, Chan Pak, continuing on the way to watching. At this moment, Song Ziking called via voice chat. Don't say. This is chat group 001 created by Chen Bai before the apocalypse. Inside, it was all before the apocalypse had arrived. The Awakened talent pioneer. Now, it's been discovered by the public. Song Ziqiang doesn't even know about this. After all, Chan Pak only asked him to make one post back then. Here to inquire about ethereal situation with Chan Pak. After receiving a definite reply, Song Ziqiang looked pleasantly surprised. So many experts. Wouldn't they all be obliged become their assistants? Chen Bai also checked out popular posts on the forum. He felt it was time to boost their reputation of chat group number 1. This way, not only can you gain immense influence, make group members feel a sense of honor, it also makes it easier to recruit other experts in the future. Another day later, Chen Bai entered a secret realm of a village that worships demons. It was also the S-class profession obtained in his previous life. The land of the demon hunter. And this secret realm quest has 3. As long as you complete any one of them, you can leave the secret realm. In his previous life, Chen Bai wanted to earn some gold coins, joined a farming team called Brother Chang. Because they made a solemn promises, dropped equipment will be distributed through a roll-off system. But who would have thought that Brother Qiang was actually doing it on purpose? Mouth says mission accomplished to kill all the corrupted villagers and leave. Actually, it's for the reward of killing the demon in mission 3. And their role is just cannon fodder. Basically, everyone died at the hands of that demon. Only Chen Bai had the sense to be cautious. Take advantage of Thechaos to hide and slip away. Just as Chen Bai was about to leave the secret realm, Brother Chang and his team took down the demon. The weakness has begun. Chen Bai's luck is off the charts. Directly obtained An's class job. Change scroll. Chan Pak could imagine Brother Qing's furious and flustered look. It's a shame he didn't see it at the time. However, At this moment, Shen Beifa entered the secret realm. Someone's already been inside. Chen Bai was somewhat surprised by this. But there's no fear of them beating us to it. Now, he doesn't believe anyone can defeat the demon boss. In contrast, at the central square of the secret realm, the leader is indeed that so-called Brother Chang. They're just trying to get the job done. As for the boss in Mission 3, wait until I'm stronger before coming back. At this moment, Thailso met Chen Bai. There wasn't really any conflict that broke out, although Chen Bai was taken by surprise. This Brother Chang, I actually found Thishiden gem so early, but is Targetus the final boss? But now, this Kindoff demon hunting boss. For Chan Pak, solving it only takes an instant. In my previous life, I was a demon hunter for decades. Chen Bai has no idea how many demon hunters he's killed. The weaknesses on the demon hunter's body were crystal clear. With Chen Bai's kill, Brother Chang also received a notification here and received some rewards. They decided to go check out the boss's location. Chen Bai saw Brother Qiang and the others arrive. A smile that doesn't reach the eyes. Are you trying to get a share of the spoils? And took out Anne's rank job scroll and rewards such Astamon bloodline items, etc. However, Brother Qiang still knows who's the boss. Killed the boss in an instant. He can't afford to mess with Samin way out of his league. The rewards they just obtained, all dedicated to Chan Pak. I want to make friends with Chen Bai. By the way, we're Chan Pak's turf. To avoid conflicts with him in the future. If it weren't for the fact that Chen Bai knew what kind of person Brother Chang was, you really might be fooled by this kind of act. However, Chan Pak heard that Brother Qiang's turf was in the western suburbs of Wuchen. Meng seems to be there too. A beast in human form like strong. The way of occupying territory be becoming a disciple. Only blood-soaked slaughter will remain. Chan Pak couldn't help but speculate. Meng in her previous life. Was it that they were victimized by Brother Chang and his gang? Suddenly, Meng sent a private message. Tell Chan. Many evolvers have appeared near his neighborhood and also conducted door-to-door searches. Chan Bai knew his fears had come true. After saying one last thing, no more Politinest Award Kyung Gore. Directly use the Blacklight virus to extract his memories. Search for the fastest route to Meng's residence. On the other hand, Meng, those evolvers have already arrived at his doorstep. After these people found out there was a girl inside, the evil thoughts in his heart were instantly exposed. At the same time, it made Meng feel disgusted. Directly unleashed skill, piercing screech. The shock caused the few people outside to bleed from all 7 orifices. But, since this skill still requires a bit of constitution to support it, the reason Meng has such poor physical constitution, his voice suddenly turned hoarse, can't take it anymore, but the villains outside aren't completely dead. The information was leaked, shaking their comrades to come for backup. After more than 10 minutes, Meng's front door was knocked on again, and this time they were prepared, directly breaking in by force. Upon seeing Ng's sweet and beautiful face, the wicked fire in their hearts burned even fiercer. However, the next second, they were met with Ng's hellfire. The immediate use of this skill left Ng drained and exhausted, her entire being on the verge of fainting. But the thugs weren't all dealt with. Ng didn't want to fall into their hands. Yet the thugs. How could they let go of such a pretty little girl? Their lust was fully exposed. Grabbing Ng to commit unspeakable acts. At this critical moment, Bai finally arrived. He showed no mercy to these vile thugs. Straightaway sent them to the 18th layer of hell. The moment Meng saw Chen Bai, she kept saying sorry. She blamed herself for not being skilled enough. This only fueled Chen Bai's raging fury. No one would leave here alive today. The brutes who tried to harm Meng would face their true nightmare. Chen Bai would grant them the most agonizing death. However, Meng Meng's condition wasn't looking good. Exhausted from drained stamina, and her overwhelming psychic energy spiraling out of control, causing headaches and hallucinations, Chen Bai gripped Meng Meng's delicate hand tightly, struggling to soothe her. As for the remaining thugs, Chen Bai had no intention of letting them off either. Through the extension of the blacklight virus, he pierced through the entire building where Meng Meng was, whether they were alive or dead. This was the price for harming his beloved disciple. An hour later, Meng Meng's complexion gradually improved. Suddenly, the door opened, and a young man walked in. He was the sole survivor Chen Bai had left, after wiping out that so-called Brother Chang. Thanks to his scouting-type talent and true sight, Chen Bai had been able to find Meng Meng so quickly. He was also the one who lured the remaining conscious members of Brother Chang's group here. In this building, everyone had now died by Chen Bai's hand. In truth, Zhang Long also deeply hated Brother Chang. Had it not been for the threats against his family, he would never have joined. He had witnessed countless innocent people die at Brother Chang's hands. Chen Bai saw that his talent was decent, and that he was the only one who had warned him to beware of Bao back then. So, Chen Bai was willing to give him a chance to follow him. Zhang Long, of course, agreed. But in Brother Chang's stronghold, there were many people he had enslaved. Though Chen Bai could take them in, the numbers were too large to bring back to Jiangking easily. So, Chen Bai took out a vial of demon bloodline potion to boost Zhang Long's strength, and left him behind to stabilize the situation. Wait until later to see whether to stay in Wucheng for development, or go to Jiangking. After Zhang Long left, Chen Bai opened the warehouse again, because when he took out the demon potion earlier, the expression on this mysterious mask changed. Chen Bai remembered there had been no change before. He glanced at the warehouse items, and decided to rearrange their positions. Sure enough, whichever direction the demon potion was in, the mask's gaze followed. Chen Bai recalled that the mask originally had no mouth. Was it now trying to eat the demon potion? He didn't hesitate, and directly fed the potions to the mysterious mask. A few minutes later, the mask seemed full, but aside from a burp, there was no other change. Yet the next second, the mask spat something out. Chen Bai picked it up and looked. It was actually an A+grade demon bloodline essence. Chen Bai never expected that the mysterious mask could purify demon bloodlines. This also meant he would possess an endless supply of high-grade demon bloodline essences. Right after, Chen Bai examined that S-grade profession scroll. The job change requirement was to enter the first layer of the abyss and hunt demons. Naturally, Chen Bai had no intention of changing his profession. His goal was 2's grade professions, but the abyss was a place filled with countless opportunities. At that moment, Meng Meng woke up. He rubbed his eyes. Then he saw Chen Bai right in front of him. In disbelief, he immediately threw himself onto Chen Bai. After the tender moment, Meng Meng resolved to improve her physique. However, gaining experience required too much. The nearby monsters had already been mostly cleared out by him in the dream world. Seeing Meng Meng's pout, Chen Bai suggested revisiting the Jiangking dungeon. Absolutely enough to go around. Hearing this, Meng Meng instantly beamed with joy. She couldn't wait to follow Chen Bai back to Jiangking right away. Noticing this, Chen Bai pulled Meng Meng close, and straight up gave her a princess carry. After all, if they walked on foot, they probably wouldn't make it back even after a month. Some time later, Chen Bai brought Meng Meng back to that demon village. After teaching her some basics about secret realms, he told Meng Meng to wait for him at the exit. Since the previous demon hunting boss had already been dealt with by Chen Bai, Squad 3's mission had changed to eliminating the Dark Priest. In just an instant, the Dark Priest was powerless to resist, and was devoured by Chen Bai. As for the other elite mobs, Chen Bai blocked them with his blacklight shield. mainly because he was curious whether the boss could still yield demon bloodline essence. Turns out it could. All he had to do was use the Blacklight virus to filter out the demon bloodline factor. From then on, Chen Bai unleashed his carnage without restraint. All these elite monsters were devoured by him, used to refine the demon potion. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the secret realm, Meng Meng looked bored and also wanted to go fight monsters. Just then, Chen Bai attracted a bunch of ordinary mobs behind him. However, these monsters were already at low health. He told Meng Meng to unleash a large area attack skill and wipe them all out in one go. Instantly, the EXP Meng Meng gained skyrocketed, and she successfully leveled up to 6, gaining 2 free attribute points. Meng Meng looked at Chen Bai with admiration, then pounced onto him, shouting about how good he was to her and how much she adored her master. But just then, Song Ziqiang suddenly initiated a video call. Chen Bai noticed his expression, looked off. Is something wrong at the gathering place? Song Ziqiang told Chen Bai. A goblin claiming to be the god of trade arrived at the gathering place. They didn't dare act recklessly. Hearing this, Chen Bai was stunned. He was somewhat surprised. Why would Ridu go to his territory? Turns out the god of trade wanted to invest. Song Ziqiang offered a grade silver construction token. The condition was the best plot of land after construction, to establish a goblin trade guild, plus lifelong tax exemption. Chen Bai was a bit surprised. But high-grade construction tokens are extremely rare. After construction, it would also bring many changes blessed by the will of the universe. This investment was all gain and no loss. But there was one problem. Once the construction token is obtained, it must be used immediately. The monster engineering of a first-grade construction token would indeed be hard for the gathering place to withstand. However, Chen Bai could return within a day, so there was no need to worry. Song Ziqiang caught Chen Bai's meaning, that he should accept the god of trade's investment himself. No need to delay and wait for Chen Bai's return. Chen Bai directly signaled to him that he had already secured the god of trade's investment, and told Song Ziqiang to praise the god of trade more and mention his own existence. Song Ziqiang followed through completely, effortlessly weaving praises for the god of trade, and brought up Chen Bai, the true leader of their gathering place. The god of trade was already quite pleased with Song Ziqiang's words, but upon hearing the name Chen Bai, his eyes widened slightly. From Song Ziqiang's words, he confirmed that Chen Bai was the one he had invested in. The god of transactions immediately retracted the Tier 1 silver construction order. He wasn't refusing to invest in Song Ziqiang. Instead, he took out the rarest S-rank gold construction order. Song Ziqiang was instantly stunned. He never expected that merely mentioning Chen Bai would lead to such a massive upgrade in rewards. After all, the difference between a rank and S rank wasn't just a simple step up. The construction scope alone was incomparably larger. In truth, the god of transactions also felt that the difficulty of a Tier 1 construction order was nothing for Chen Bai. Only an S-rank monster project could truly test his capabilities. With Chen Bai involved, Song Ziqiang accepted this investment without hesitation. Just moments earlier, after confirming his return to the settlement, Chen Bai immediately took out equipment to enhance physical resilience. He mainly equipped Meng Meng with it, because this time, Chen Bai planned to rush back at full speed. He was afraid Meng Meng's bare physique wouldn't withstand the wind pressure. Nearly a day later, Song Ziqiang finally met Chen Bai, with only 20 minutes left before the zombie project's deadline. Chen Bai first carried the unconscious Meng Meng to his bedroom. Song Ziqiang then handed the painted plague set to Chen Bai and informed him that 3 defensive lines had already been set up outside the settlement. Hearing this, Chen Bai pulled Song Ziqiang into his arms. He was very satisfied with her thoughtful handling of matters. The two lingered affectionately. Song Ziqiang turned her gaze toward Mengmeng. Chen Bai signaled that Mengmeng wasn't his woman, but rather his disciple, whose talent was no weaker than his. He asked Brother Song to come over later to take care of her, and to notify him the moment she woke up. After that, Chen Bai headed toward the city walls. Outside, the gathering grounds had already begun to swarm with countless zombies. The dark, seething mass of undead stretched as far as the eye could see. In his past life, the White Emperor city Chen Bai had established was only B rank. Compared to S rank, it was like heaven and earth. In the final 2.5 minutes before the zombie siege began, Song Ziqiang had a little girl with an amplification talent announced the purpose of this construction. They would face 5 days and nights of monster assaults. But there was no need to worry. They possessed a city wall unmatched anywhere in the world, with over 100 talents ranked B or higher, nearly 10 first-tier and S-rank experts, and even 2 of the strongest with S-rank talents. So failure was completely out of the question. They could freely reap experience and gold coins. Song Ziqiang's rallying speech instantly boosted the confidence of everyone in the gathering grounds. They never could have imagined that the gathering grounds even had 2 S-rank talents. This was also something Chen Bai had personally requested. He had never considered hiding his talent rank. Next, Chen Bai turned his gaze toward Su Li. Ask him how the livestream preparation is going. Su Li signals. The highest level of cosmic will has been activated. A controllable livestream. At the same time, on the Evolver forum, a post titled Jiankang S-Class Construction Complete. The livestream of the construction completion is trending, but many people find it hard to believe. With the start of the zombie project, the zombies gathering outside have actually begun evolving. In truth, Chen Bai already knew. He hadn't acted earlier, because after evolution, those zombie attributes would increase threefold. The golden experience gained would also triple. And even if these ordinary zombies evolved, to him, killing them would be as easy as slaughtering chickens. Moreover, the virus he released could further weaken the zombies' attributes. But when Chen Bai saw the zombie horde actually avoiding those infected by the virus, he realized this project was being manipulated by a zombie lord from behind the scenes. So the priority wasn't dealing with the zombie horde anymore, but finding and eliminating the lord. Otherwise, facing zombies with intelligent siege tactics against the settlement, they wouldn't be able to hold off so many zombies. Chen Bai also couldn't leave the settlement now. To perfectly resolve the current situation, he'd still need Mengmeng's help. Meanwhile, inside the villa, Mengmeng finally wakes up. He doesn't recognize Brother Song. A bit confused, asks him where this is. At the same time, Chen Bai also received the news that Mengmeng had woken up. Mengmeng's role was irreplaceable. He immediately sent Mengmeng into the dream world to find a special zombie. He roughly described the appearance of the zombie lord, and Mengmeng, who had entered the dream world, gazed at the endless horde of zombies. He began to use his dream manipulation ability, directly summoning countless meteor fragments above the city walls, then mercilessly hurling them at the zombies. After indulging in the thrill of it, Mengmeng immediately set off to find the Lord Zombie Chen Bai had mentioned. Meanwhile, the defensive battle outside lasted until evening. Upon returning, Chen Bai asked Song Ziqiang about the casualties. Due to Chen Bai's own large-scale slaughter outside, there were no deaths in the settlement. Only a few who had fought their way out were injured, leading Song Ziqiang to believe that this zombie siege was nothing to fear. Chen Bai rejected his idea. Not only had the zombie lord not appeared, but even other special zombies were pitifully few. The ordinary enhanced zombies were just cannon fodder. Chen Bai speculated that the zombie lord was gathering strength, preparing to overwhelm the settlement in one wave. And right at that moment, Mengmeng came looking for him. Chen Bai immediately instructed Song Ziqiang to tell Sali not to livestream his location. He didn't want Meng Meng's innate ability to be exposed. As for Meng Meng's reason for seeking out Chen Bai, it was naturally about that zombie lord. Since Meng Meng lacks tracking skills, she could only roughly pinpoint his location. However, Meng Meng wasn't completely empty-handed. She discovered some gathering spots of special zombies, such as red-eyed, 2 to 3 meter tall fatties, weird zombies missing jaws and arms, a tower crawling with extremely fast zombies, and muscular, strength-type zombies covering their entire bodies. Based on these descriptions, Chen Bai could confirm. The zombies were respectively the gigantic fatties, grinners, hunters, and tanks. These were all second-tier zombies, roughly equivalent to human evolvers around level 10. According to Meng Meng, there were likely thousands of these zombies. The sheer number didn't intimidate Chen Bai, but under the control of the Lord, these special zombies would undoubtedly aim for mass slaughter. Once they scattered, even Chen Bai would be helpless. So the Lord had to be eliminated first. And Chen Bai already had the perfect candidate to locate him. Without exposing Meng Meng's abilities, only Hanxiu, the psychic dominator, could do it. Time moved to the next day. The three gathered in the dream world, looking at the impressive settlement. Even Hanxiu felt tempted to move in. Chen Bai signaled it was no problem. Apart from the central villa on the mountaintop, there were plenty of vacant villas nearby. Hanxiu could pick any he liked. Next, Chen Bai decided to head to the TV tower first. To eliminate those extremely fast hunters, Hanxiu then went to find the exact location of the zombie lord. Accompanied by the two of them, they quickly arrived at the foot of the TV tower. In the dream world, Meng Meng could use her abilities without hesitation. However, these second-tier zombies were no pushovers either. In just an instant, they closed the distance from the TV tower to right in front of Meng Meng. Fortunately, Chen Bai was right behind Meng Meng. His body ignited with hellfire, instantly reducing those zombies to charred remains. He then devoured them all using the blacklight virus. Seeing this, Meng Meng followed suit, using hellfire to burn the zombies as well. Before long, all the hunter zombies had been dealt with. They estimated the number to be around 300. Just as Chen Bai and the others were about to clear the next special zombie gathering place, Hanxiu's good news arrived. Chen Bai caught Hanxiu's flying dagger. It indeed stated that the zombie lord had been found. Hanxiu confirmed the exact location of the zombie lord. However, Chen Bai had no intention of killing him in the dream, because he wanted to return to reality and eliminate the zombie lord live on stream, solidifying his status as the world's #1 in one fell swoop. Of course, since Hanxiu helped so much, Chen Bai promised that if any loot suitable for him dropped, he would save it for him. Next, Chen Bai continued making arrangements, having them clear out those second-tier special zombies, while he returned to reality. Soon, Chen Bai found the zombie lord's location. He could sense the aura of high-tier evolved virus. Suddenly, at this moment, several zombies wielding sharp blades swept toward Chen Bai. These were hunter zombies, evolved third-tier slayer forms. Chen Bai speculated they might be the zombie lord's personal guards. He didn't immediately eliminate them either. Instead, he began feigning weakness, trading blows with the slayers, afraid that his strength might be too overwhelming, causing the zombie lord to flee in fear. Sure enough, the zombie lord took the bait. The next second, Chen Bai instantly killed both slayers. In the end, they still didn't understand what happened. Before being devoured by Chen Bai, became his nutrient. The blacklight virus evolved a new blade form. Suddenly, Chen Bai felt his mind being assaulted. His gaze turned toward the source. There, a strangely shaped, large-headed zombie slowly revealed itself. And it was the zombie lord. Chen Bai took a step forward. His blade severed the zombie lord's body. This level of weakness didn't match its supposed strength. leaving Chen Bai somewhat puzzled. Yet the next moment, Song Zixiang suddenly appeared, pouncing onto him, shouting in admiration, congratulating Chen Bai for slaying the zombie lord. Followed by Brother Song, a group of beauties. Chen Bai instantly recognized the situation. Sure, he liked beautiful women, but though the zombie lord had intelligence, it wasn't much. The illusion it crafted was far too crude. The next second, Chen Bai obliterated all the beauties before him. As the illusions vanished, Chen Bai's eyes locked onto the zombie lord. Its illusions couldn't even disrupt his basic judgment. From this, it was clear, though the zombie lord was a psychic-type zombie, its mental power was even weaker than his. At the same time, Chen Bai's live stream began broadcasting the scene. The audience finally understood what had just happened. Meanwhile, back at the settlement, a second-stage obese zombie launched a sudden assault. They actually had intelligence, using ordinary zombies as shields. Then it was hurled into Flesh and Blood Fortress. Seeing this, Song Zixian immediately ordered the deployment. An evolver with long-range talents rushed to kill the zombies thrown at them first. Little did they expect, there were still sneering zombies lurking below. Evolvers with low mental strength couldn't withstand them at all, leaving Song Zixiang no choice but to step in personally. He transformed his violet gold into blades to slay them. Shuanger also did her utmost to assist by his side, so the situation remained somewhat under control. Preventing a total collapse, Song Zixiang told them to just hold steady. As long as Baidi struck and killed the zombie lord, they would achieve victory in this defensive battle. Meanwhile, the live broadcast was seen by everyone. All of them admired Song Zixiang's abilities. As for Chen Bai's side, the zombie lord's guardians came at him one after another. They all evolved from second-tier zombies. For example, the third-tier power zombie tyrant, or the meat mountain zombie mutated from the giant fat zombie. Even there are agile heretics similar to the zombie lord. Chen Bai faced them without fear. First, he enveloped his entire body in hellfire. Then he plunged directly into the meat mountain zombie's body, piercing it through. Afterward, Chen Bai saw the zombie lord trying to flee. After all, it was only exceptional in intelligence. Its combat strength wasn't great. It died outright by Chen Bai's blade. The live stream audience was stunned. However, that giant fat zombie wasn't dead yet. Its massive hand suddenly slammed toward Chen Bai. Actually, it wanted to devour its own leader. To evolve once more, Chen Bai would never let it consume his prey. Soon after, the meat mountain zombie followed the zombie lord's fate. Its body was split in two. But then the tyrant ambushed Chen Bai from the side. Yet Chen Bai had already released the virus. At the very start of the battle, the tyrant's attributes had already been weakened. That whip strike didn't even injure Chen Bai. Instead, Chen Bai used it as a meat shield to close in on that agile heretic zombie, then took down the agile zombie as well. After eliminating all the zombies, they dropped loot one after another. Coincidentally, their materials could craft the equipment in Chen Bai's hands. The live stream audiences getting pretty hyped. I was already amazed by Chen Bai's terrifying strength. Now never thought I'd see rare equipment appearing again. Finally, the three materials merged. A special Class C full set equipment. This rank left Chen Bai somewhat dissatisfied. The live audience could tell. They also felt this rank was unworthy of Chen Bai. Suddenly, the will of the universe issued an official prompt. The brain of a high-tier zombie lord, the bones of a mutant tyrant, mutated flesh, zombie muscle, and the heart of spiritual flame. All of these possessed special abilities, now gathered onto the gauntlet, triggering a rare forging effect. As long as Chen Bai wears this equipment and slays 100,000 mutated zombies, along with 100 high-tier zombies, this equipment will evolve into a growth-type soul weapon. Chen Bai wasn't worried about this though. After all, there's no shortage of zombies at the gathering spot. Next, Chen Bai began devouring the corpses of 4 high-level zombies. Aside from gaining a large amount of virus points, the Blacklight virus awakened a new form, plus 3 new abilities, as well as the foundational awakening of the Blacklight virus. The development progress had reached 3%, allowing Chen Bai to unlock talents exclusive to the Blacklight virus, aside from certain advanced abilities later on, requiring higher awakening levels. For the rest of the abilities, Chen Bai only needed to invest virus points to fully unlock all these talent abilities. Instantly, Chen Bai's strength surged significantly again. He directly used his new ability, Aerial Dash, to rush back to the gathering spot. Seeing this, Su Li, who was controlling the livestream, immediately notified Song Zikun that Chen Bai had already dealt with the Zombie Lord and was on his way back. Meanwhile, Song Ziqiang, who had been fighting intensely, couldn't avoid getting injured. The little nurse was treating him, to which Song Ziqiang looked at him, hinting that it was time to rest. After all, from the start of the operation until now, the little nurse hadn't taken a break. The exhaustion on his face was already visible to the naked eye. However, the little nurse disagreed. To this, Song Ziqiang had his own solution. He brought up Chen Bai, hinting suggestively that once the operation was over, if he didn't recover his energy for the private celebration, Chen Bai would wreck him. Just moments ago, although Chen Bai had dealt with the Zombie Lord, the situation remained far from optimistic. Qin Lingyu came to report that, even though the zombies were no longer under the command of the Zombie Lord, the ones in the distance had stopped attacking the settlement, but the zombies within a 1-kilometer radius had developed a hatred for the settlement and were still frantically charging at them. Meanwhile, the high-level zombies, now without leadership, had begun gathering together. Their firepower couldn't fully stop them. All this information was provided by Wei Jiahua, who was stationed at the settlement's watchtower. Additionally, their flesh and blood barrier was being devoured by the zombies at a rate that exceeded its natural recovery speed, meaning it wouldn't hold much longer. As for how Wei Jiahua could make these assessments, it was thanks to his first-tier talent, All-Seeing Eye, which allowed him to zoom in on any target within his line of sight, mark and lock onto them, and consume mental energy to quickly synthesize all information in his field of vision. Since the siege began, Wei's abilities hadn't stopped working, and now he was nearing his limit. Hearing this, Song Ziqiang hadn't expected that the girl Chen Bai brought back would be so responsible. He immediately instructed Qin Lingyu to bring Wei Shui down to rest, while he returned to the battlefield to provide support. Meanwhile, at the edge of the settlement's walls, Brother Song, this school beauty, disregarded his own safety and led a group to offer reinforcements. Shuanger quickly spoke up to stop him. These mutated zombies were not something he could handle. Right at that moment, Chen Bai finally rushed back. With just a few flashes, those mutated zombies were effortlessly taken down by him. He told them to leave the rest to him. Immediately after, Chen Bai activated his new Blacklight virus abilities, virus tracking and thermal sense. After tracking all the zombies within his detection range, he directly unleashed advanced charge geomagnetism, precisely piercing through the zombies. Song Ziqiang also stood guard on the side. Meanwhile, Dream Hunter relentlessly hunted the zombies. This slaughter continued for 4 full days before ending. Chen Bai hadn't expected that this siege would result in far greater losses than he'd anticipated. The city walls were almost completely destroyed. Fortunately, the death toll was extremely low. The god of trade also congratulated them on flawlessly completing the mission, urging them to quickly establish the first city-state after the apocalypse trials. Just then, the will of the universe reminded them. The construction reward had been distributed, yet there were no visible changes around them. Song Ziqiang wondered where the reward had gone. Chen Bai then instructed her to lead the way. to the location where the city construction decree was to be used. At the same time, a city heart appeared at the foot of the settlement's mountain. Using it would instantly establish a city-state. However, it belonged exclusively to Song Ziqiang. Others wouldn't be able to use it even if they touched it. Chen Bai's arrival came with some surprise. The construction was repurposed here. Turns out Song Ziqiang had professionals plan it out. It included mountains, plains, and rivers. The terrain was practically perfect. Chen Bai was quite reassured by this. He let them proceed with building the city. But then, Song Ziqiang suddenly asked the god of trade. Though this was an investment in him, he wanted Chen Bai to be the city-state's ruler. The god of trade signaled that the decision was his to make. All he cared about was the investment agreement. The two exchanged a glance. Understanding each other's thoughts, the city heart immediately acknowledged its master, Chen Bai. Recalling his hatred for the goddess Helrose in his past life, Chen Bai named it White Emperor City, the same name as the city-state he founded in his previous life. The will of the universe, then announced the benefits of the S-grade construction order. With the city heart as its ruler, aside from a personal 20% boost to experience and drop rates, all attributes increased by 100% within White Emperor City's borders, while enemies suffered a 50% reduction in all attributes. Chen Bai directly granted Song Ziqiang the highest administrative authority, providing an 80% boost to all attributes. Soon after, proclamation from the will of the universe echoed in the minds of evolvers worldwide. Congratulations to Evolver White Emperor for founding White Emperor City. 10 reputation gained. Those who participated in defending the city would also be rewarded, not only with a level up, but also 3 free attribute points. Suddenly, the god of transactions began to clap. He was very satisfied. Chen Bai became the city lord. Song Ziqiang obtained the highest administrative privileges. This was most in line with his wishes. After speaking, he looked at Chen Bai, hinting that he should hurry and complete the final investment task. How could Chen Bai not want to? But 2's class profession scrolls. Where would they be so easy to find? The god of transactions merely chuckled lightly before vanishing. Chen Bai then handed the construction reward to Song Ziqiang. And what was that reward, you ask? A Galaxy supercomputing core integrated automated production line. This was something capable of manufacturing vehicles and firearms. Song Ziqiang was a bit stunned. After the Doom trial descended, weren't modern things supposed to be unusable? Chen Bai explained. The production line manufactures items with attributes. Unlike modern manufacturing, even built at S-class, it would allow the newly constructed city to eventually possess S-class buildings, such as a biological backup center, capable of cloning bodies, granting people a second life, as well as an S-class anti-gravity foundation, which could be used to build a floating sky city, and so on. These were blueprints only an S-class city-state could produce. At this moment, Mengmeng also returned from the dream world. Thanks to the monster-slaying leveling this time, he unlocked 3 new skills: White Noise, Drowsy Surge, and Dream Totem, which could now emit various sounds to lure people into dreams, and the hypnotic ability has been significantly enhanced. At the same time, it carries a relaxing effect, along with the mental suggestion function that scatters attention. In fact, this was also a combination Chen Bai saw in his skill book and told Mengmeng about. As for the last skill, Dream Visitor, it was chosen by Mengmeng herself, and its effect is incredibly powerful, possessing teleportation abilities. Simply put, it allows travel to any location through the dream world and can be applied to the real world. Chen Bai couldn't help but praise Mengmeng for choosing such a great skill. After saying this, Chen Bai prepared to test the effects of Mengmeng's new skill, asking Song Ziqiang to arrange for a few people with different levels of mental energy. Song Ziqiang leaned in and hinted not to stay out till late. At night, they were still waiting for Chen Bai's reward. And Brother Song even prepared a gift for him. As for that gift, it was for the campus bell. He was determined to subdue Chen Bai in tonight's battle. Qin Lingyu smirked at him, hinting that he shouldn't fight alone, and not to pass out midway. This nearly made the proud campus bell Song explode in anger. A few blissful hours of the night passed. Song Ziqiang, having seen Chen Bai guide Meng Meng earlier, also wanted Chen Bai to advise him on his next evolution path. Brother Song suddenly popped out from under the covers, signaling that he wanted it too. Chen Bai found it amusing, caressing his pretty face. There were only so many C-grade talent skills. What more was there to advise on? But Brother Song didn't care. He just insisted on Chen Bai's guidance. To this, Chen Bai agreed, and didn't play favorites, letting the other girls show him their talents too. First was Song Ziqiang's talent. It had 3 evolution paths. Chen Bai felt that since he was more of a queen than a warrior, he should focus on mental reinforcement first, and the advanced skills of those violet eyes, violet gaze, sword heart, boundless depth, noble eyes. These would allow Song Ziqiang to understand his opponents, while also granting the ability to control them. Next was the campus bell Wei's talent. He had 2 evolution paths. Chen Bai taught him that he could later unlock threat vision. This would let him clearly see who posed a danger. Then it was see what I see. It allowed sharing vision with teammates, instantly transforming into an indispensable god-tier support. Next was Su Li's B-grade illusory image B-grade talent, which had no evolution path from the start. What Chen Bai prioritized for him was unlocking the believe the illusion as reality skill, as long as the target didn't see through the illusion. This skill could deal true damage. Simply put, if the enemy believed it was a nuke, they'd get nuked. The ability was powerful, no doubt, but it also had a fatal flaw. Su Li lacked disguise. His energy fluctuations or aura skills were easily seen through by experts. Next up was the little nurse. Her B-grade rapid recovery talent could fully distribute points evenly across stamina, flesh, and mental recovery. Because the nurse's talent first took effect on herself and required active use to heal others, such a simple yet practical healer skill was something Chen Bai had never seen before. Brother Song couldn't wait for Chen Bai to teach her. But Chen Bai felt the weakest C-grade should be addressed last. He turned to Qin Linju's B-grade talent, focused concentration. This was a duelist's divine skill. By locking onto a target and concentrating on them, it accelerated thinking and filtered out all irrelevant information, allowing Qin Lingyu to make optimal decisions. Yet it too had its drawbacks. Qin Lingyu must control her focus time. Otherwise, she wouldn't even notice if someone stabbed her. Lastly, there's Brother Song's C-grade talent. Exceptionally gifted. Chen Bai simply told him to max out all his skills. By then, he'd have 10 times the learning speed, 10 times the skill proficiency, and so on. In short, his growth speed would be 10 times that of others. Chen Bai smirked at him. Maybe he could conquer him with masterful techniques in the future. Meanwhile, Shuanger, standing guard outside, heard the commotion in the bedroom. He also wanted Chen Bai's guidance. Time skipped to the next day. Chen Bai used Meng Meng's new skill to teleport to Hanxiu in Demon City. Due to the distance being too great, Meng Meng exhausted herself and couldn't come along. At this point, Chen Bai grew curious. Since Hanxiu had participated in the event, how many attribute points had he earned? Hanxiu immediately hesitated. Turns out, he had intended to kill a sneering zombie. But while flying with telekinesis, he got stunned by the sneerer and fell to his death. As a result, he only got 1 attribute point. Chen Bai said flatly, "Don't tell anyone you're from Group 001 in the future." Of course, that was just a joke. He had another purpose for coming to Demon City, namely, the plague mark from this rank mission. Chen Bai originally wanted to check for any connections, but the moment he arrived, the plague mark kept alerting him. Next, Chen Bai then went with Hank Xiao to that chemical plant. During this time, he began examining the mysterious mask, the purified demon potion. Not only could it elevate one to S rank, it didn't even have any usage requirements. Soon, the two arrived at their destination. The subsequent mission for the plague sect immediately began. Chen Bai's task was to locate the source of the plague mutation at the chemical plant. By now, Chen Bai's level had already risen to 10. His virus monarch talent had been further enhanced. Any virus within a 10-meter radius was under Chen Bai's control, so he could still ensure Hank Xiao's safety. Suddenly, a giant mosquito flew over the two of them. Chen Bai's arm transformed into a black light. With sheer force, he sliced it clean in half. At this moment, Hank Xia discovered strange mushrooms. Chen Bai signaled for him not to touch it. Otherwise, his entire body would rot and death would be inevitable. This was an amalgamation of plague, viruses, and bacteria. As he spoke, Chen Bai swallowed it in one gulp. Han Zhao was shocked for what felt like 10,000 years. To Chen Bai, all of this was just nourishment. Next, the two arrived at the dormitory area of the chemical plant. However, after searching around, they found nothing. Head outside. Chen Bai asked him what the place he pointed to was for. Because the concentration of plague and viruses there was unusually. Han Zhao replied with a smile. That's where the chemical plant treats its wastewater. When Chen Bai and the other arrived there, they discovered that the production facility had already undergone a bizarre transformation. Chen Bai solemnly warned Han Zhao, "Whatever you do, don't leave my side here." 10 meters away, suddenly a voice rang out. Then a figure in black robes appeared before them. Chen Bai struck first to gain the upper hand. He wanted to eliminate this suddenly appearing enemy. Yet, in the next second, Chen Bai's eyes widened in shock. Because his attack actually failed to break through the defense. Unexpectedly, the black-robed figure not only did not counterattack, but instead knelt directly before Chen Bai. With utmost reverence, he said, Chen Bai was the destined god of their kind. Here, they offered the highest form of respect and the most devout prayers. I, Pucaxiumi, am ready to dedicate everything to you at any moment, whether it be my life or my soul. It must be known that this person's level was 71, equivalent to a third transcendent saint in Chen Bai's previous life. This was also why Pucaxiumi had no defenses against Chen Bai, allowing Chen Bai to perceive the exact situation. In fact, the Mark of Plague chose Chen Bai at the beginning of the trial. He is the future god of the Plague sect. The sect paid such a heavy price to enter the trial early, all to pave the way for Chen Bai. Chen Bai had heard that every top-tier talent has a unique and precious opportunity meant for them, and every member of the Plague sect who came to the trial would offer Chen Bai a treasure matching their strength. This was also due to the interference of the cosmic will. Otherwise, they would have unhesitatingly given all their treasures to Chen Bai. Chen Bai then asked if he had any job change scrolls. Upon hearing this, Pucaxiumi signaled that of course he did, and immediately produced 2 S-rank job change scrolls, followed by the sect's most prized possession, the S's rank Child of Misfortune job scroll. Hank Xiao, standing nearby, was utterly stunned. Yet Chen Bai seemed somewhat disappointed. He retorted, asking if there were no S-rank ones. Pucaxiumi explained that during the early stages of the trial SSS, rank jobs were almost impossible to obtain. Many gods had started with a rank, and only later ascended to S-rank jobs. How could Chen Bai not know this? But he only wanted an S-rank job change scroll. Pucaxiumi was overjoyed upon hearing this. Was this truly their future god? One who sought only the highest tier profession. The revival of their plague sect was within reach. And as it turned out, he just happened to know a method to obtain its rank job. though Chen Bai would have to retrieve it himself. It turned out Pukaxiumi could open a special space. It can lead to Blue Star, the greatest plague event in history. Chen Bai only needed to enter it, to collect the seeds of plague engraved in history, to condense them into a class change scroll. It was possible to obtain Nth grade scroll. However, the cost of opening it was his life. But for the sake of Chen Bai's path to godhood, Pukaxiumi would rather become a stepping stone for his growth. He sacrificed himself without hesitation and opened this passage, a trap set by a near demigod-level powerhouse, unlocked for Chen Bai. An exclusive dungeon echoing the wails of 80 million past souls. This also meant Hank Xiao couldn't enter. He didn't mind, though. Instead, he excitedly bragged about what he'd witnessed in the group chat, immediately piquing the interest of many when they learned that a terrifyingly powerful being had willingly submitted at Chen Bai's feet, and even gifted him an S's grade class change scroll. Those highly talented individuals were all utterly stunned. They also realized the gap between them and Chen Bai was as vast as heaven and earth. Meanwhile, Chen Bai, who had entered the dungeon, felt his hourglass of time tremble faintly, perhaps signaling his arrival in the past. Chen Bai now found himself at the Roman Stone Gate, in Florence, known as the City of Art during the Middle Ages. Yet the streets were eerily empty. As Chen Bai scanned his surroundings, he spotted a figure in a narrow alley. He refuses to interact with others, claiming to be a filthy sinner. In fact, he actually contracted the Black Death, even a virus capable of causing 80 million deaths. Under Chen Bai's viral monarch talent, could only become nourishment. At the same time, the Plague Sect side quest is triggered, requiring Chen Bai to locate the source of the Black Death Plague. Just as he was puzzled, beneath the black robe stood a young maiden. Having recovered, her gaze turned reverently toward Chen Bai. Believing him to be a divine messenger sent by the gods, she vowed to follow him with her life. Hearing this, Chen Bai, indeed, needed manpower to gather information for him. At the same time, he told the maiden, he was no messenger of the cross-bearing god. His true identity was the god of plague, and he ordered her to spread this truth to all. Coming to his side would heal them. A stroke. The girl who experienced it firsthand unconditionally believed in Chan Pak. Although his call caught others' attention, it clearly didn't earn their trust. They thought he was just sick and delirious. But when the girl led by example, demonstrating herself, speaking earnestly, without a hint of deceit, finally, someone chose to believe her. After touching and sensing for themselves, they found the girl wasn't coughing, nor did she have a fever. So, under the girl's guidance, everyone came to Chan Pak's side. Without wasting words, Chan Pak acted, absorbing the Black Death from their bodies. In just a few minutes, they realized their bodies no longer ached. A sense of relief washed over them. This feeling made everyone kneel and kowtow to Chan Pak, willing to believe he was the legendary deity. And deities show compassion for mortals. Chan Pak did the same. He told them there was no need to kneel. He only wished to spare everyone from the plague's suffering. At these words, tears welled up in their eyes. They never imagined a deity could be so noble, so lofty, yet caring for the lowly. So they resolved to spread Chan Pak's mercy throughout all of Florida. But just then, the knights of the church arrived. They would not allow the spread of heresy. Not to mention it was a plague that threatened life itself. Without hesitation, he drew his sword against Chen Bai. Yet Chen Bai saw an opportunity arising. He did not resist, allowing the knight to strike him freely. The moment to fully ascend as a deity was now at hand. For the blades of these mortal knights could not harm Chen Bai in the slightest. The fanatical young girl fumed as Chen Bai thwarted her next move. But she dared not disrespect a god. Divine punishment should befall him. Yet Chen Bai appeared magnanimous on the surface. He signaled that no matter how many times they stabbed him, he would harbor no resentment. His arrival was solely to deliver salvation to all. This speech only deepened the people's adoration for Chen Bai. 3 days later, at the Holy Church of Light, due to Chen Bai's sudden rise, nearly the entire city had begun to worship him. Leaving the Holy Church of Light abandoned, their interests threatened. The golden-haired bishop naturally sought to eliminate Chen Bai, but the elder, head of the bishops beside him, opposed the idea. For Chen Bai had driven away the city's afflictions, healed all who suffered, and even taught methods to curb the plague's spread. Though he did not understand concepts like bacteria or microbes, Chen Bai demanded no offerings from his followers. He preached of a benevolent deity, one who would not pit good people against each other over faith. Thus, if the Holy Church of Light were to act in the eyes of all, that is no different from the devil. But he also sent this news to the Pope. Believe that the Supremagod will resolve this doubt. As for Chen Bai, after absorbing the Black Death of the entire city, he successfully condensed the seed of plague, though the progress was only 0.001%. And the new ability, the Pillar of Plague, his followers would only need to pray before it in the future to transfer the plague into the Pillar of Plague, transforming it into the seed of plague. This also meant Chen Bai would have to travel the entire world, deploying pillars of plague, collecting viruses. Now, Chen Bai had achieved his goals in Flory. He was practically no different from a true god. After announcing his departure, the crowd knelt and loudly recited the doctrines of the plague sect. At the same time, Chen Bai left behind the Pillar of Plague, explaining its usage to them. The faithful once again wept with gratitude. They signaled that they would establish a plague cult church for Chen Bai, spread Chen Bai's teachings far and wide. Upon hearing this, Chanpak was very satisfied. May you never suffer from the scourge of disease. Goodbye, children. The fervent shouts off the believers. Chen Bai could be heard from far away, but this is also what he needed. The prestige of the gods draws people to gather around them. Let him be on the path to collecting the seeds of plague. It can save a lot of effort. Otherwise, I'm afraid it wouldn't be completed even in 10 years. So the identity of the deity is very important. The Pope, on the other side, also received the news. The verdict rendered is to eliminate the heretic Chanpak. The Pope believes that Chanpak can drive away the plague. Then he is absolutely the mastermind behind this epidemic. The Pope took out the suprametriashore of the Holy See of Light, Spear of Longinus, have the leader of the Night Order deal with Chen Bai.